The MrBeast story is now being covered on national news. He recently was covered by shows like Good Morning America, CBS Mornings. He's been covered by BBC, Time Magazine, Variety, Forbes, New York Times, CNN, and the story is officially mainstream. He even got sued by 5 contestants from his game show in a class action lawsuit, and his new product, Lunchly, got absolutely destroyed by the internet, being called out by OG YouTubers like DanTDM. But anyways, we've been covering MrBeast right here on this channel for 2 whole months now, and a lot of people want to know the full story right from the beginning. So I made this one video to get everybody up to speed with what's going on, especially those who don't want to individually watch every single video, or those who are a little bit confused by the thumbnails. I wonder why that would be. So here we finally have the long-awaited compilation of every single MrBeast video so far, but it's been edited down to the most important parts of the previous videos, and I've added my own new future commentary to some of the previous segments because hindsight obviously changes a lot of things and we know a lot more about the story right now. So I've gone in and connected a couple dots here and there. I've also included a new video in this video. It's a response to KSI's absolutely horrible video responding to the Lunchly situation with MrBeast, but we'll get to it when we get to it. As always, disclaimer, these videos are just my opinion and not statements of fact. I'm simply reporting the news. Every individual mentioned is innocent until proven guilty. And with that being said, let's start right from the beginning with MrBeast's childhood best friend, Chris Tyson. So it all starts with this video titled, "This video will make you hate Chris Tyson." And not gonna lie, it was pretty successful at making me hate Chris Tyson. Basically, it's exposed Chris for being an absolute A-grade, gold star, certified degenerate freak. I gotta say, this is one of the worst things I've seen in a while. Basically, Chris is really into lollipops without the pops, if you know what I mean. And essentially, lollipops, as I'll be calling it in this video, are drawings of minors, but, you know, animated. So it's one of those situations where, you know, guys, she actually only looks 8 years old and, you know, I like jacking it to this 8-year-old character and I have her framed in my living room, but actually she's just a 50,000-year-old vampire, so it's completely okay. Now, it turns out Chris was also good friends with someone who draws real children as those characters and actually bought art from them as well.
However, there's a very sketchy personality involved in this story, also known as Shadman. Shadman was a normal guy until he decided to attend an art university in Switzerland to pursue his passion for art. However, shortly after, he was expelled when some of his artwork was discovered to be illegal, even considered a danger to society.
Okay, so essentially this Shadman guy is an actual freak. He draws not only animated 8-year-olds, but also real people. In fact, this guy drew his own mother in a prawn scenario, which is absolutely wild. All right, that is, I don't know what levels of messed up that actually is, but if that wasn't bad enough, this guy took Keemstar's actual real daughter, who was a minor, and drew her in also prawn scenarios as well, which is just, I don't know, man, disgusting, depraved. There is no justification for that as well. And despite this fact, and despite knowing all this, we have good old friend Chris Tyson here, who just doesn't seem to mind at all. In fact, Chris seems to love this type of stuff, showing support multiple times to Shadman through several tweets, even like pulling them up on stream once accidentally, and even commissioning this type of disgusting art and hanging it in their living room that they were sharing with MrBeast.
Someone will tweet on November 8th, 2016, asking Shadman to draw Keemstar's daughter, who was 7 years old at the time, doing inappropriate things with Donald Trump. Shadman will respond by saying that if Trump wins the election, he will deliver it. And as we know, Trump wins, and as promised, Shadman will post drawings.
Okay, so this is literally all that I'm going to show because I don't really feel comfortable showing more than that. But yeah, I mean, this is a real person, not a 1,000-year-old witch or whatever defense people have for this.
How are Ava and Shadman linked? Well, the answer to this is another drawing by Shadman. It depicts a young girl wearing a "Please be patient, I have autism" cap, pointing a gun at her mouth. She has a fidget spinner as an earring and a spade tattoo on her thigh that says BBC, which we all know what it means. On November 18th, 2017, Ava responded to a tweet from Grande and MrBeast stating This is coming from a guy who owns a Shad-based drawing and has it as a centerpiece in his living room. Just some time later, they also posted the exact same drawing laid on the floor with the caption, "Bonus fidget spinners to throw some extra autism." In this MrBeast video, you'll notice a very familiar thing at the 9 minutes and 30-second timestamp. From what I believe, keeping illegal art in the bedroom isn't normal at all. The shocking thing is that MrBeast and Chris were roommates during that time.
Yeah, nah, Chris is absolutely cooked. You not only bought the art, but had it on display in your living room for everybody to see. Any guests that come in, oh, your mom comes to visit? Well, look at my lovely art over there. I mean, how much of a degenerate can you actually be? I'm also wondering if they do all of this stuff in public, right? You know, tweeting like that, showcasing your support for such a horrible person like Shadman, monetarily supporting him too, displaying his stuff in your living room, then what are they doing in private, right? Now, the video continues with Chris just constantly responding to Shadman and asking for more and more of this underage art. And at a certain point, I mean, you're just sick in the head. If it was a one-off joke, one time, I get it. You know, being edgy, whatever. Everybody was edgy at one point. But you clearly love this stuff. You have it framed on your wall.
On April 16th, 2018, Ava replied under a deleted Shadman post saying, "No Beast Boy trap, Shad? You've changed." Basically, Ava was asking Shadman to draw art of Beast Boy, as Beast Boy was shown at different ages in the show. We can't say anything for certain, but that doesn't mean the tweet wasn't strange, though we definitely can't say the same about the next tweet. On January 17th, 2018, a person tweeted saying, "Remember this growing up? Me too. Check it out at Shadbase," featuring a photo of the 4-year-old cartoon character Caillou with his mother. Chris joined in and replied, "Help, I need an adult." I don't think there's any need to explain how crazy this stuff is, but what's even crazier is Ava's next tweet. Maybelle and Dipper are 12-year-old siblings from a show called Gravity Falls. On July 14th, 2017, a user tweeted comics of these characters kissing. Ava replied, "They're twins, so at this point, it's just right?"
Yeah, there is just no defending this. I don't see how any Chris supporters are ever gonna justify this peak degeneracy. You're asking for Beast Boy art here, who's actually one of my favorite Teen Titans characters, man. Ruined that as well, huh? The internet one by one, taking everything I love and just driving a knife into it. Caillou is crazy, by the way. That is, why would you ever want to see that? Nah. And Mabel and Dipper from Gravity Falls, actually, a bunch of people told me to watch that show. I watched a couple episodes, but yeah, that's not something you want to see sexualized. That is so weird.
The surprising part is that Ava wasn't just reacting to Shadman's work. They were friends or knew each other, to say the least. On April 16th, 2019, Ava will post a clip from their livestream where they accidentally visited Shadman's website. What's even weirder is that they gave him a shout out stating, "Shout out to Shadbase for having safe for work drawings today."
And you can see the dates are getting closer and closer to today. We have 2019, which is 5 years ago. Still a long time before, but you know, in situations like this, the time doesn't really matter because once a creep, always a creep type of situation, right? You just can't tell me that Chris is innocent in this and didn't know what Shadman's done, because obviously they have a degenerate past. And, you know, some people are saying that, oh, okay, Chris has completely reinvented themselves and they are a new person because they're trans, which is like, does it really like change you from a PDF type of person to a non-PDF? I'm sorry, then every criminal is becoming trans, all right? That's not how it works at all. And if you were doing PDF type things 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I don't care. You still need to pay for it. This is not a situation where somebody's getting, canceled because, you were cringy 6 years ago.
On January 25th, 2019, Shadman posted a picture of a character called Raftalia from The Rising of the Shield Hero. There are 2 versions of her in the show. In one, she's 17, and in the other, she's 10. Shadman posted a 10-year-old version stating, "What is this, and why do people keep sending me this?" Ava replied underneath saying, "Please, Shad, please." I believe everyone understands what this means. One of the tweets, which wasn't clear or was out of context, said, "Nothing gets my knob cranking like some."
Anyways, after this situation, I went to Chris Tyson's YouTube and Twitter just to see what people are saying. And, you know, on the Twitter, all the tweets are deleted. So it seems like somebody's trying to erase their tracks, you know? But then I went on their YouTube, and my god, it is flooded. Here's Chris Tyson's latest video, and 50k views, 300 likes, which obviously does not match up. You didn't appear in the video because there was no children there. Diddy party enthusiast. Dr. Chris Respect. Bro thinks we don't know. Challenge, stay away from kids. Difficulty impossible. I don't know what is going on in 2024. Every week we got another PDF. Worst era to be underage, actually. Okay, so looking back, that video kind of sparked this whole situation. We got our little introduction to the dark side of Chris Tyson and the whole Shadman situation. The entire thing was absolutely disgusting. Hanging that art on your wall, consistently showing support for someone so absolutely depraved who was drawing real kids in that manner. Additionally, there were several situations regarding grooming, and one alleged victim was Lava GS, who initially denied it and then sort of walked it back later on. But another victim named Nathan actually made several videos exposing Chris, and eventually resulting in leaks of the Discord server chats where Prawn was allegedly being shared to minors. Ava Chris Tyson from MrBeast preyed upon me when I was 15. This is my story. He's attached a 2-minute video. This has gone viral again.
Chris Tyson from MrBeast used me, manipulated me, and did very inappropriate things with me while I was about 15 years old. I was actually friends with Lava GS at the time, who is the main victim of Chris that everyone has been talking about these last few days, who claims he isn't a victim, but we all know he is, and we all know he probably got paid off. Not only that, but he's also under an NDA from when he worked for MrBeast Gaming for 2 years, and he tried to get me to join MrBeast Gaming himself, Lava. He's the one who actually sent me the contract and tried to get me to sign the NDA, at which point I ended our friendship because I knew they were just trying to silence me. Me and him were both initially involved in running Chris's Discord server, helping him set up his Twitch streams and moderating them.
Nate's calling me.
This Discord server that we were a part of had about 10 people in it, most of whom were minors. I'm not sure how they got in there. This turned into us having lots of private conversations with Chris and playing video games with him for hours on end. Not only did we do a lot of unpaid work for him that he promised he would pay us for, he would also frequently bring up sexual topics that was definitely not appropriate to bring up around 15, 16-year-olds, especially with him being like, I don't know, 20, 21 years old. He would even go as far as linking me several different porn and hentai videos throughout the time of me talking with him. Not only that, but he had an NSFW bot in his Discord server before he made it public. So when it was just a private server, his little circle of minors. And he would use this NSFW bot to spam different corn images, alongside all these 15-year-olds. He would also frequently call me dad and daddy as well as the others, which I guess we all kind of just took as a joke at the time. You have to think this is someone who we looked up to at the time, we idolized, we thought was the coolest person in the world, so they couldn't really do any wrong in our eyes.
Now, a lot of the stuff Nathan here says does make sense. The NDA would make sense as to why people wouldn't speak about it till now. Lava defending Chris makes sense because of business interests or grooming. The Discord server with minors has been confirmed now by multiple people, victims, witnesses, screenshots, audio, everything, right? So basically, Chris would be talking about these spicy topics and linking minors' corn videos, as well as having an NSFW bot there as well. I mean, that is extremely damning. Meanwhile, Chris's response is, well, I was just telling edgy jokes.
This server later went public and became his official Discord server, but before it did, he had me and Lava spend multiple days scrubbing this Discord server clean of all of the N-words he had sent in it, as well as his friends, as well as deleting the NSFW channels and making sure no one could see that he was spamming corn to minors.
Okay, so that's when the situation started to become very real for Chris Tyson, when an actual victim is going on record calling you out publicly on recorded video with name and face both public. Usually in these situations, it's an anonymous account alleging something, but this is just a straight accusation with the victim right there. So after hearing all these testimonies and seeing all the messages and evidence in the Discord servers, which we'll get to in the MrBeast section because he's involved there as well, the internet demanded justice. Everyone demanded Chris be immediately removed from MrBeast videos so Chris couldn't have a platform where they could influence millions of kids or just have any sort of access to minors, right? And then came Chris Tyson's inevitable apology, one of the worst YouTuber apologies of all time. I would like to apologize for any of my past behavior or comments if it hurt or offended anyone. It was not my intent. Seeing recent events, we've mutually decided it's best that I permanently step away from all things MrBeast and social media to focus on my family and mental health. Okay, first off, stay away from your family. Stay away from Tucker, your poor son, who does not deserve a disgusting, despicable parent such as yourself. This is such a non-apology. This is basically Chris saying that, oh yeah, I'm sorry if you got offended by me talking to kids. Like, please. Here's what the replies are saying. If you're apologizing, are you saying all of the allegations are true? Because that's what this statement appears to be suggesting. I mean, if somebody doesn't deny that they weren't talking to like underage children and all of this degenerate stuff, you're basically admitting it. Pathetic. You didn't apologize to me a month ago in private when I brought up your behavior supporting the cartoon artist that drew my 8-year-old daughter in a sexual way. What changed? Yeah, exactly. You had a conversation with Keemstar regarding this, all right? That time you didn't apologize, but now after all this public backlash, you seem very apologetic. Okay, so Chris continues the apology saying, I want to add that I never groomed anyone. The person who gets brought up in these accusations, Lava, has vocally supported that they are false. This is so stupid because you're basically taking the opinion of the child that was groomed by you. Like, if the grooming was successful, yes, they would be on your side because you have successfully brought them to your side with your goddamn grooming. Having said that, I humbly apologize to anyone I've hurt with my unacceptable social media posts, past actions, and to those who may feel betrayed by how I used to act online. To lump these two factors together to create a narrative that my behavior extended beyond bad, edgy jokes is disgusting and did not happen. In the past years, I've learned that my old humor is not acceptable. I cannot change who I was, but I can continue to work on myself. Okay, this is hilarious because here you are saying that it's just edgy jokes when you literally bought illegal art and framed it on your wall. I don't want these accusations to impact the hundreds of people who work at MrBeast, which is why I've stepped away. Now listen, I'm not a guilt by association type of guy, but you cannot tell me nobody in the MrBeast crew knew about Chris Tyson's behavior when that picture was framed on the wall, and MrBeast clearly looked at that as well. So I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything, but if more people get exposed in the coming weeks and months, do not be surprised, and I called it, okay? Well, it's funny to look back because turns out I actually did call it because this was before the original Dog Pack exposed video. Of course, I had no idea how much MrBeast would be getting exposed, but I did have a feeling something was brewing, and Chris Tyson was just the tip of the iceberg. And brewing it was, because the Chris Tyson situation actually ended up getting so big that MrBeast himself descended from his throne at the top of YouTube and was forced to come out with a PR response on Twitter. So it all starts with this tweet by Jimmy where he fires Chris from the MrBeast team. Over the last few days, I've become aware of the serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and I am disgusted and opposed to such unacceptable acts. During that time, I've been focused on hiring an independent third party to conduct a thorough investigation to ensure that I have all the facts. That said, I've seen enough online and taken immediate action to remove Ava from the company, my channel, and any association with MrBeast. I do not condone or support any of the inappropriate actions. I will allow the independent investigators the necessary time to conduct a comprehensive investigation and will take any further actions based on their findings. Now, it turns out Jimmy's statement is actually in contradiction with Chris's statement. Chris Tyson said that she stepped away, while MrBeast said that he fired her. And we can see the difference between the two statements. Chris Tyson basically saying that I've decided to actually step away, right? I obviously didn't get fired over here. And MrBeast saying, oh yeah, I just fired them, right? Now, obviously, I believe Jimmy over Chris. Chris obviously got fired and was too embarrassed to say it. So Chris was like, oh, I stepped away. I stepped down. Think before you sleep saying, okay, but was there a reason that you didn't respond to all of this last year when it was initially exposed? Why wait all the way until now to make a response when people have publicly known about this since April April 2023. Omni says, sounds good to me. Internet anarchist saying he's like us. Quartering saying there have been several young men under the age of 16 that have come forward. Chris and Ava was predating on your viewers. His name is Ava. You enabled him to prey on your young viewers, and the statement is pathetic. Why is it so hard to disavow grooming? Okay, so MrBeast's response was obviously a PR response written by his MrBeast team to try and get ahead of the drama and distance themselves from Chris Tyson. But as a lot of people predicted, MrBeast was best friends with Chris for several years, and with the Shadman art hanging in their shared room, people were theorizing that MrBeast was more involved in the situation than was initially let on. So then we had the infamous Discord leak, where the server where Chris Tyson was allegedly sharing inappropriate messages with minors and allegedly sharing porn with minors was exposed to the public. And shockingly, a user named MrBeast was also found in that same server sending messages, and people seem convinced it was indeed Jimmy. Now, I mentioned in my last video that MrBeast was actually caught in the same Discord server where Chris Tyson was openly sharing porn to minors. And now we have, allegedly, confirmation that it was indeed the real Jimmy, and it is seemingly provable by searching the archives and seeing that his account is linked to the MrBeast gaming channel, which is not possible unless you own the channel and can log in. Meaning, essentially, MrBeast lied in his response, saying that he just became aware of Chris's actions in the past few days, when in reality, he knew all along. As we know, he had the lollipop art hanging from his living room wall, and he was in the same server as Chris sending messages, and he was best friends with Chris for over a decade and defended him until the recent drama. Now, it actually gets worse for MrBeast and Chris because 500,000 messages have been released to the public from that Discord server. Keep in mind, this is after Chris and his squad wiped out every message that they thought was incriminating, but there's still so many left. Moreover, Lava, one of the victims who was groomed by Chris, now recognizes that it was inappropriate and wrong what was happening in the server. So let's go over these messages and explore this insane rabbit hole. Here we have a tweet by Drama Alert, a thread of all the weird things Chris Tyson allegedly said in the Discord with minors. She's only 14. Damn. Okay, so these messages are from 2018. Somebody posts an attachment. Chris replies saying she's only 14. Damn. What did you think she was? 16 and legal in some states. Oof, of course. If she's 14, I'm 14. Chris allegedly sharing links to the famed lollipop artist Shadman, and Chris has linked the website. Chris the meme god, also referred to as Lollipop God, is back. Designated Lollipop, yes, it's me. Yay, you're back. Ooh woo. What am I, a parent? Chris Tyson's alleged response to a request to delete an NSFW channel because there were minors in the Discord. I don't have any issue with the channel. What I have an issue with are minors that have access to said channel. Chris says, is there even a way to do that? Not really, no. So what do we do, lol? Remove it? No, people like it. Even if there was a way, anyone can lie about their age. Yeah, true. And I mean, to be fair, the internet is full of prawn. Discord says if you can't regulate it, don't have one. It's the responsibility of the server owner to prevent minors from viewing prawn materials. Chris responds saying, what am I, a parent? Lol. I say we get rid of this because the fan base of MrBeast and Chris are mostly under 18. And Chris obviously completely ignored this. Chris says there's nothing more free than peeing in the shower facts, waterproof phone gang, and added an attachment of presumably his image. We only worship Jeebus around here. Challenge accepted. The god. Oh yeah, daddy Chris. That's a lot of moisturizer. Why are you in the shower? I don't know if this was a picture of Chris or something with minimal clothing, but this is bad. This is bad. Allegedly Chris Tyson role-playing. No, it is not. Buzzles your necky wecky. Fight me. Love you guys. Nuzzles PP. Nah. Unzips PP. Okay, Chris, you need to be locked up ASAP. Now, it gets really bad when you realize that MrBeast was also in the server sending messages. MrBeast and Chris Tyson Discord leaks. MrBeast allegedly complimenting Chris Tyson's PP size in Chris's Discord server with minors. No, he's not. His PP isn't big enough. I'd know. MrBeast, this is the actual MrBeast. No, I know his PP size and it's huge. Beast, are you gay the moment you... Okay. I'll deep throat Chris PP. Haha, MrBeast joins in to comment on my PP size. I love it. And that's Chris. Vindication, Jake Franklin, Jake the Viking also tweeted out saying Jimmy knew. And then he says, I called it because these texts have been revealed. And it has been confirmed that it is actually MrBeast. It has been linked to his official account, as I mentioned. Oh Lord, it's going to be a long night. Okay, so I gotta mention a couple additional things that are happening on the side. Chris Tyson is being accused of SA by someone. I was SA by Ava Chris Tyson. Skina has come out with their story here. A lot of stuff going on here. I pretty much gotta censor all of this or YouTube's gonna nuke me again, which I don't want. He's done. This is the nail in the coffin accusation. Is anyone else not surprised? Now, it turns out, because this situation got so huge, Chris Tyson's own sister has come out saying that Chris is faking being trans as a fetish. I'm his sibling. He, and yes, I use the correct pronoun, told me that he got fully aroused when he secretly stole my female clothes and put them on. He's deluded and disturbed, and it's 100% a fetish. He's narcissistic, and professionals have told him he needs a full psych eval. This would be absolutely groundbreaking if he was mocking the LGBT community by, pretending to be trans or something like that. But I can't confirm any of this. These are allegations from other people, right? So I'm just reporting on it. All right, so pretty much that Discord server leak was the nail in the coffin for Chris Tyson, because no full-grown adult should ever under any circumstances be talking to minors in an inappropriate manner, let alone sharing NSFW things with them and talking like that. That is just disgusting. And the fact that MrBeast was also spotted in the same server sending messages is very disturbing. Now remember, this server was scrubbed and every incriminating message was supposedly already deleted, right? And we are just viewing the remains, which are already looking so bad. So for all we know, it could have been possibly way worse. And finally, there ends the Chris Tyson saga, and now we move on to MrBeast, which starts off with an absolute bang, and a new character named Dogpack404 steps into the arena. MrBeast has just been exposed in a viral video, and it is getting bad. A recent video by Dogpack404 has gone viral titled, I worked for MrBeast and he's a fraud, with some serious allegations made towards MrBeast. Some of them include faking his videos, promoting gambling to children, conducting illegal lotteries, rigging games and videos which involve millions of dollars in prize money, which is also a crime, not giving out the prizes that he promises, false advertising, exploitation, and a whole lot of stuff, right? And the thing is, this video did not even show up in the YouTube search bar for several days, despite having 200k views, which is seriously suspicious and very much looks like a shadow ban. So let's get into this video, break this down, starting with the allegation that MrBeast is faking videos.
Also, if what we had to film was scripted, because what we do is non-scripted, so you have to plan for a bunch of variables that you can't control, blah, blah. If what we did was scripted, holy shit, this stuff would be easy to pump out.
Have you ever faked a video?
No.
But this train track is CGI, these bus wheels are CGI, this explosion is fake, this shredder is CGI, this car is digitally lifted, this pit is fake, this guy is fake, this raccoon is a paid actor, this island costs more than $1, this city is not abandoned, these buildings are CGI, but it's not your only way out, you can literally get an Uber to the airport for $20. That's not a lurker. It's just a guy. This whole room is fake. This contestant is an actor and a secret employee at MrBeast. They had him dive through this fake door twice. This line is scripted. This action is scripted. In fact, pretty much all the videos with Mac are scripted.
You did it! Yeah! What we did was scripted. Holy shit, this stuff would be easy to pump out.
Okay, so that was a really quick montage of stuff that MrBeast is fake, and I think it's pretty obvious to most adults watching that MrBeast is faking his videos, and he clearly lies about it. Because every video has those incredibly high stakes all up into the end. And obviously, MrBeast spends millions of dollars on his videos, so he's not going to pick somebody who quits in 2 minutes, or he's not going to make the challenge end in 2 minutes. He's purposely going to manipulate the events, manipulate the contestants, so that they're not going to quit halfway, and it's going to be neck and neck all the way up till the end for that retention. So Mac was made out to be this random person that is trying so hard to win these challenges, and everyone is emotionally invested in his success. Well, it turns out, in reality, he's just a MrBeast employee living in a mansion, and he purposely stalls out the videos to make it intense.
Let's talk about Mac for a second.
We will die. Do you understand that?
I found public records showing that Mac moved from California to Greenville, North Carolina, where Jimmy is located, back in August 2023, 2 months before he appeared as a contestant. According to a former MrBeast employee, this is around the time when Mac started working full-time on the editing team at MrBeast. Also, he didn't just move into any old house, he moved into a $1 million mansion. His 6,000 square foot $1 million mansion comes with a movie theater and 7 bathrooms.
What are you gonna spend the $800,000 on?
I mean, my life's changed now.
Yeah, I'm sure that $800,000 is really gonna change your life.
Max, this is a nice car.
Tell me, where are we right now?
We're in the place that we drove to a few minutes ago.
Mac, let's cut the shit here. What have you been doing for like the last year?
A lot of family stuff.
What kind of family stuff?
Just like, playing catch with my dad,
For a year? How do you make money?
Okay, so this is pretty much confirmed that Mac is an employee, meaning if he wins or loses a challenge is pre-planned out by MrBeast. And MrBeast is artificially introducing these stakes in the video, and you might be saying, oh well, he's doing it for entertainment, to entertain the viewer, who actually cares? Well, then you shouldn't be saying that your videos aren't fake because you're lying to your audience. And this leads to several other ethical issues, because when you introduce contestants that you aren't paying, right? And you get together sort of random people or YouTubers who are not part of your bullshit pre-decided scheme, then they are actually getting tricked because they're going into these challenges thinking they can actually win $1 million, but they can't because you're controlling everything behind the scenes and the odds are not fair and are heavily stacked in the favor of one of your friends or one of your employees and shit like that. And yeah, that's obviously messed up. Now, Dogpack goes on to show MrBeast even fakes his own challenges, like, being stranded at sea.
During this time lapse on the 4th day of 7 days stranded at sea, you can clearly see there's no one in the shelter. These are their empty beds. But after a hard cut, magically 5 people are awake, and 2 of the boys have bright yellow raincoats that they didn't have when it rained on day 2.
And after standing the whole night, completely soaked.
You didn't spend the night soaked, Jimmy. You slept on the production yacht. It's ironic because this is one of the videos where they claim that they don't fake things.
But no, we have to be the real channel that doesn't fake things.
In this video, this wink was added in post. In fact, 58 was actually on the far opposite side of the room from 42, and he just didn't hear him. This whole revenge storyline was added in post. Multiple shots show how timers are edited in post. Timers are edited in post. Timers are edited in post. They also manipulated contestants' audio in post.
We got 15 minutes.
In general, if anything happens last second, it's fake. Or if you can hear someone's voice but can't see their mouth, the audio could easily be added in post.
I literally think I'm gonna kill.
Okay, so this is pretty good evidence that he's found, and honestly, I'm okay with the CGI and stuff. I understand you need that for visuals, but making people say things that they didn't say, that is just completely fake. And editing timers and stuff, I mean, you can do that or whatever if it's a TV show and stuff, but don't say it's real then. And faking your own challenges is obviously just pathetic. But I'm surprised that everybody has gone on with it. Like all these friends and all these employees, not one person had a peep out of them. Maybe he's making them sign NDAs or whatever, but I'm surprised it actually took this long. And I knew he'd be exposed by somebody close to him, like a former employee. But yeah, man, this is the downfall of MrBeast starting right now.
I mean, it's not like he's ever rigged the results of a challenge. That would be impossible because he films with hundreds of random subscribers, right? Wrong. Let's look at this video. Not only were the results of this video completely scripted, but the contestants are not random subscribers.
So many people had jobs.
Oh, that contestant had to get out for her job? I guess you forgot she's your hiring manager. I actually recognize a lot of people in this video, including Jimmy's own girlfriend. So yeah, the random subscribers you see in challenges are actually never random. They're almost always local to MrBeast and oftentimes friends and family of MrBeast employees or just the employees themselves. And when they do pull someone from outside of North Carolina, it's usually somebody who's in the industry, who's camera trained, who has built a following. And what's even worse is that the results of this video were completely scripted. According to a former MrBeast employee, it would have been a PR problem if the boys had won by a lot. And because so many of the female contestants were MrBeast employees who got out immediately, production stepped in to actually make the results of the challenge closer. You can actually see some of this happen on camera, like when Jimmy pays one of the boys $10,000 to leave, which is twice as much as the actual prize money.
All right, so essentially everything is fabricated. See, the problem here is that this stuff is borderline illegal. Because, what if I'm one of the contestants that actually wasn't bought and paid for, right? I imagine at least one out of these 100 person is like an actual real person here, right? And not just just friends and family. So what if I'm here spending 3 days and nights here trying to win some money, and I'm taking a break from work or whatever, and then I get eliminated and I'm like, oh damn, I didn't win. But then I realize after watching this video that the other 90% of the contestants are just your friends, your girlfriend, your whatever the heck, and they were going to win anyways. And you're scamming the legit people who came there to win some money. That is some really scummy behavior. But anyways, moving on to MrBeast's real-time video, which I knew it, like, that was the instant one where I was texting people like, this is fake. Like, there's no way.
This is a real-time video, meaning that time elapses the same in the video as it does in real life. Now, immediately the intro is sped up, and the timer is clearly added in post, and he clearly touches the laser here, but whatever, let's assume that it's all real-time. When he reaches the bottom floor, he has to turn these water valves. Now you can tell that these valves aren't actually connected to anything because the water flows out in an instant, and it happens when he's not even touching the valve. The contestant also goes back to the first valve unaware that anything had happened, and he's still able to spin it. So the valve seems to spin freely and isn't actually connected to the flow of water. So you could assume that producers might be off camera with remote switches to trigger the flow of water. And assuming they've tested this, the producers might know how long it takes for the water to clear out of the room, so they could sort of decide on the fly how many turns of the valve it takes, or just when to trigger the water in general to make the results close. And in traditional media, this kind of rigging is actually completely illegal.
On any kind of a game show where there is a prize, you have to have somebody that ensures that it's fair. They are out there essentially to make sure that we don't do something that would favor one player or one tribe.
I paid the one guy who knew how to solve them to leave.
They came to my area many times, and I was in the smallest cupboard.
Okay, so pretty much every video that ends at 0.001 seconds before finishing, and it's like super close, obviously it's fake, and MrBeast has fabricated that for you, making the video more interesting. Because in reality, it would probably end like 5 minutes before and randomly, and that would just be lame with no tension. Pretty sure this is not following the law, so MrBeast needs Saul Goodman ASAP, because if any of these people decide to, sue MrBeast, they are going to win. They are going to win. You can prove a lot of this stuff with the evidence this guy's used in this video.
If you guys want to win a brand new PS5, all you have to do is subscribe to my channel.
I can't believe people are still doing fucking giveaways. Holy shit, it's so annoying. 10 years of YouTube, people are still like buying subs for this shit.
So over the next 7 days, I'm gonna be giving 1,000 random people that subscribe a free Samsung Galaxy S24.
How is this legal? I don't get it. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel.
All you have to do to enter to win one of these phones is subscribe.
It's a scam. Holy shit.
Okay, so PewDiePie is completely right there in saying that it's mostly a scam. The problem with these sort of giveaways is that it's extremely shady, and it's never sort of confirmed that who's actually getting all the stuff, and it's never properly announced. First off, MrBeast is never losing money, all right? He's like making an insane profit every single time when he does one of these, like buy my merch for a chance to win X amount of money. Like the merch sales will always make more money. It's kind of like gambling at the casino. The house never loses, right? It is always rigged so that you will be the one who's losing money.
For those of you who are just joining, if you buy one of our limited edition 40 mil special shirts, we're celebrating 40 million subscribers with a really big video, then we will sign that shirt, and some of them will get random prizes like this.
46 illegal lotteries. These lotteries are also run poorly. Multiple times they would say something like, buy in the next 5 minutes for a chance to win. And then 7 minutes later go, actually, the newest order in 30 seconds is gonna win.
In 5 minutes, we're gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna put $1,000 in a random order. Hey, Daryl, don't we owe someone $1,000?
We do.
Yeah, so, all right, so the newest order, in 30 seconds, we are gonna put $1,000 in your package. We're gonna break neutral.
When there was just no way they were ever even close to losing money on this stream. In 5 hours, they gave away about $50,000 worth of stuff and sold over 50,000 t-shirts. Selling these t-shirts at $42 each, profit margin would be about $22. But even if they were making like $1 per shirt, they would still be fine. Also, by my estimates, only 1 in every 1,600 orders actually won a prize. And I guarantee he has real-time analytics on his laptop. He knows they make more money every time he says, oh my God, guys, we're giving away so much stuff. We're not even gonna make a profit. It's insane that he can flip these massively profitable illegal lotteries targeted towards children as an act of generosity.
Honestly, really good points here. I'm really shocked it actually took this long for someone to call MrBeast out on these things. Instead of calling him out for charity, which is completely idiotic, this is the sort of stuff we need to be talking about, because this is somehow getting past the legality, right? Because this is on YouTube, and all of the stuff he's doing is pretty much illegal if he was doing it on TV or traditional media. Even on YouTube, it's a weird gray line, okay? So I don't know if any lawyers watching, you want to go ahead and investigate this? When you promise the audience that, oh, next person that buys it in 5 minutes wins $10,000, and then you nonchalantly say, whoops, you know, changing that, actually the next person in the next 2 minutes, like, you're just changing the rules every single time. What about the person who specifically bought after 5 minutes after you said, just to try and win some money or whatever? They obviously got scammed, right? Now, it's very loosey-goosey, as you can say, but this is why it's in that legal gray zone, right? Anyways, this next part doesn't have as good evidence as the rest of the video because it's just Reddit, but it's a bunch of people essentially saying that they got scammed by MrBeast. They either didn't get their prizes or they were tricked into spending money or something like that.
They only signed large t-shirts, so when they selected an order to give a prize, it was apparently always a large or extra large t-shirt. They kept saying things like, buy in the next 15 minutes for a chance to win, and then not honoring it. Multiple people claiming that their name was read to win a prize and they never received it. This person is still tweeting about it to this day. Reading all this really upsets me because I spent money I honestly didn't have for 5 shirts at different times during the live when they said things like, buy now and you will get prize or money. And I received 2 orders and nothing but shirt, both with MB and one with a heart and one with a smiley. I was hoping for at least a couple things for Christmas for my family. And obviously people can lie on the internet, but a lot of people are independently claiming the same things.
Okay, so I know some people might say that, well, if you're stupid enough to spend money on this, you deserve to lose it. But, you know, think about it, right? It's probably some kids who are just begging their parents to buy this merch, right, for a chance to win their money. And then the parents are not really looking into it that much. Oh, my kid wants to buy some MrBeast merch and, you know, can possibly win some money. Just go do it, right? And then they get disappointed when they didn't get what they expected. And that one guy mad about it for, what, 883 days? Absolute legend. That guy is gonna haunt your grave, Jimmy. Now, this next part, somebody actually forges MrBeast's signature on stream. And that was like one of the reasons people were buying the merch, to get a signed MrBeast jacket or shirt or whatever. And that's just fraud, isn't it? I don't know.
So here's a clip of Tyler forging, or not, maybe not forging, using MrBeast's signature. So Tyler signs MB, which is MrBeast's signature. Then he covers it, signs his own initials, TC, smirks, looks around, and then quickly slides the shirt away. Could you make it any more obvious? You know, you don't accidentally have someone else's signature as muscle memory.
Hey! MB, MrBeast. So this is MrBeast's signature.
No way, this one was signed by MrBeast. It's just got the MB, but that means it's signed by MrBeast. That's obviously his. MrBeast. This is so cool.
Even Tariq notices Tyler slip up and immediately looks into the camera, looks guilty, and then readjusts his body and rubs his hands together. Also, MrBeast said during the live stream that this is the last time he'd ever sign anything, and that was just a lie.
Don't worry, guys. MrBeast is just too busy faking videos and defending Chris Tyson to actually sign his own hoodies that his fans are buying. This is so flippin' scummy. Now, every signed MrBeast item is worthless because it could just be somebody else forging your shit. So this is a really, really bad look, right? Now we gotta talk about Feastables, right? I remember MrBeast saying that this was a healthy chocolate bar with only 4 ingredients, right? And then this doofus changed it into the same diabetes-causing bullshit that every other chocolate brand seemingly does and loaded it with sugar. This absolutely sucks.
I wanted to just make a better for you snack brand because I think a lot of the stuff out there is just terrible for you.
Because obviously so much obesity and disease comes from the stuff we eat.
Now in 2024, MrBeast changed the formula again to where it has mostly the same ingredients as Hershey's and even more sugar and more calories per bar. And this initial ad for Feastables where he calls it healthy is still getting millions of views a month. Like, MrBeast is bringing hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of new people to the candy aisle, whether he wants to admit it or not.
People are just walking to the chocolate aisle and instead of buying Hershey's, buying Feastables. Like,
People who never would have bought chocolate in Walmart are walking to the chocolate aisle specifically to buy Feastables.
You're creating a new market.
Exactly. I'm bringing new customers to the aisle.
I'm bringing non-obese people to the chocolate aisle. What a hero, MrBeast. Also, 30 grams of sugar per bar. Dude, that's almost as much as a Coca-Cola can. What the freak? Do not buy this absolute dog shit that he's calling a health food. When someone like MrBeast claims to release something healthy, tricking everyone into buying it, and then changing it back into something extremely unhealthy, even more unhealthy than the brand he's constantly shitting on, Hershey's, that is some sinister shit, okay?
Now be like shocked, like have your hands over your face, like you're emotional as you can be. So like have your hand reaching for it and then like be like shocked, like you're, yeah. Now act a little surprised. Like be like really shocked with your mouth open.
Yeah, that is some sociopath shit. Okay, so looking back on the initial dog pack exposed video, there were actually a lot of good points regarding the illegal lotteries, promoting gambling, rigging videos, faking signatures, the Feastables thing, and changing their formula. Lots and lots of solid points, and they have aged very well. 2 months have passed since the original video, and MrBeast has not addressed a single one of the allegations because honestly, in my opinion, a lot of these are in plain sight. You can see what's happening in the publicly available videos, and some of these allegations, not all, some of these allegations simply cannot be disproved because they are actually true. And instead of responding, the MrBeast team has tried to scrub the evidence from the internet, deleting videos of the illegal live streams on every single platform, some even on Facebook allegedly, quietly editing out portions of old videos, wiping out hundreds of thousands of comments on videos, banning terms from the comment section to make sure more people aren't alerted of the situation, basically trying to snuff out the spreading fire, so to speak. But obviously, as we know, things got far worse for MrBeast when an entirely new set of allegations dropped regarding Beast Games, the Amazon show that MrBeast is currently filming. Now we gotta move on to the MrBeast Games situation. Basically, MrBeast is doing an Amazon show called Beast Games, and it's essentially one of his videos, but on a very wide scale, right? And tons of people are coming out with so many allegations that the environment was incredibly unsafe, with allegedly people being denied medication, being beaten by other contestants, given very little food, some allegations that girls were tackled and assaulted by guys on the show with zero repercussions. MrBeast is a monster. MrBeast's alleged contestant speaks out, claims unfair teams and contestants being defressed after. MrBeast just wants to psychologically disturb people.
They eliminated 400 people the first day. Those 400 people, the majority of them were forced by the other team members to be on the specific team they were. Some were just about like physically like assaulted to be put onto one team, which ended up making it like the weakest team, since it was a lot of like elderly people, petite women, and people that they weren't willing to take on 6 guys that were surrounding them trying to take their vest so that they can actually be on that. Of the 400 people that left, the majority of them, I'd say at least half, are all extremely depressed. Like, MrBeast is a monster, and the games that he does are really cruel and sick. I mean, there are a lot of updates that I'm going to give. I made a video last night when I was prepared and planning on last night. It was supposed to be $1,000. That's like nothing. 4 months. It was going to take 4 months to get to me, as MrBeast and his staff knew that I was homeless and had nothing when I went on the show, and I had to buy stuff for wardrobe to be on the show. Many people, sometimes they hadn't gotten their medication for like 2 days. Some of it was like epileptic medication, like really vital, necessary medication.
Okay, so some people are saying that she might be exaggerating, blowing it out of proportion, or she's just salty that she lost the game and she didn't win any money and she's a sore loser. Now, that could be the case, but considering she said she wants to game end herself, that would seem sort of serious. Also, you'd think that MrBeast would help out one of the sort of homeless contestants, seems like in line with his values, but apparently not. Now, the only reason I showed this person is because there's also tons of other people coming out saying the same thing, including reporters who went to the location and nurses in nearby hospitals where MrBeast filmed, saying that there were people severely injured and the conditions were super inhumane, right? Where people were denied medication and food and proper hygiene. Now, a blast from the past for Rosanna Pansino, the YouTuber with like 15 million subs, who was complaining about MrBeast's hide and seek challenge. She also made 2 videos about this. Here is the first one.
I wanted to keep you guys updated on what I've been hearing about MrBeast's Beast games. Since I posted my video yesterday, I've pretty much been talking with more people involved with the show all day. At this point, I've lost track, but I think it's nearing like 100 people who have reached out to me with their stories. Each person has their own experience and their own opinions, but overall the stories that I'm hearing just break my heart. I have never heard of anything like this on any set. So today I want to read a statement from another contestant who shares many of the same experiences with the other stories that I'm hearing.
Okay, there's going to be a lot of reading. Feel free to skip this part, but I'll try to interject my commentary and let you know what I actually think. I was a contestant until the end. I also didn't accept their hush money. It was really bad. People were having seizures because they weren't getting medication, even though we were promised we would. It was 100% rigged and presented as though the games would be like Squid Games, basically a type of game show where all the games are at an even playing field. That was not at all the case. The games were about speed and strength. I assume this is similar to the Netflix show Physical 100, where it's like physical challenges, right? So only the young athletic males were at an advantage over the women and elderly people that were casted. To make things worse, men started realizing they could take out the women without being eliminated. Guys started tackling and hitting women. 2 girls were tackled and passed out on the field and dragged off to continue filming. I saw people with broken bones, stitches, and most were women. This is straight out of an absolute horror show, and the fact that multiple people are coming out with this is absolutely insane. I'm really hoping some contestants come out who haven't signed NDAs and let us know if all of this is true or false, because this is an insane scandal. We were given maybe 400 calories a meal and only fed every 12 hours. Food would run out and people would fight, steal, and hoard food. What kind of sick game was this? I thought this was a regular MrBeast video, but they're fighting over food and water? Water was scarce and kept running out as well. I had to sit with a bloody pad for 2 days before I get undergarments and my reusable pads because I'm allergic to regular pads. We're also sleep deprived, only allowed to sleep 3 to 4 hours. We all slept on the floor on the stadium in a $10 sleeping bag. They offered anyone who lost $1,000 to sign away their rights to join any kind of class action lawsuit of any kind. That is an insane thing to even offer in the first place. Isn't that implying that you've already done something really wrong? I didn't sign, so I did not get the money. After the article came out and things started blowing up, they called everyone back and decided to offer an additional $1,000 per person to make up for the inconveniences. And we'll get to the article as well because that is yet another bombshell. They knew it was bad because they also offered to provide therapy sessions using their own insurance. And it wasn't Amazon Prime that called me, it was the MrBeast crew. So this therapy session would coincide with what that woman was saying about how she wanted to neck herself. I mean, initially, I did think it was a bit far-fetched because it's a game show, but if what they're saying is true and you were beaten and starved, I mean, yeah, you would want to neck yourself and you need therapy sessions, right? I mean, this would be an insane story to make up by 10 different people at the same time. I mean, that's kind of crazy to me, so I'm inclined to believe at least some of this stuff happened. Possibly they're exaggerating, but at least a lot of the bad things did happen here. We were set up to fail, and when men started tackling people to get them out, nothing was done about it. They were not even eliminated. The game that had to do with the briefcase, it literally felt like Hunger Games, while MrBeast is standing on his podium, looking down, watching all of us peasants fight for a chance at $5 million. I know it's a game show, and even with the waiver, it's a company's responsibility to have safety protocols in place to try to prevent injuries. That is not what was happening here. The fact that there were nurses at the hospital in Las Vegas are also confirming all the injuries that happened is proof they did not have to sign an NDA. So this is what gives the most credibility to this situation, because even in the article it mentions that, yeah, the nurses are are confirming these stories as well, because they were getting a sudden influx of injured people, and it was all coming from the MrBeast challenge, dude. And you know, he didn't have the staff, he didn't have the sort of team to handle all of this, and this absolutely blew up in his face. Here we got yet another contestant with another story. I was expecting for this competition to be hard, but I did not expect to endure what I did. It was a shit show, to say the least. I believe they were in over their heads and did not plan very well. Here are some of the things I experienced. No one was using a microphone to make announcements, so it was very hard to hear what production was saying. A lot of things got missed. I had to hear through the grapevine about certain things, like when they had Gatorade, when we could go to medical, and when they had snack bags. This just seems like a really poorly organized event that led to an absolute disaster, you know? They handed out undergarment bags to everyone alphabetically by last name. I did not receive my undergarments until the second day of filming. After the first competition, they hadn't fed us in a while and I was feeling lightheaded. I asked someone if they had anything to eat, and they told me to push through and basically suck it up. Oh, you want food, peasant? Nah, not here in the MrBeast. This is a dojo, all right? You don't get food, pal. On the first day, after 12 hours of having contacts in my eyes, I asked someone if I could go to medical to take them out, and they told me no. I witnessed 2 people that had seizures, and it took medical several minutes for them to get there. I'm assuming this happened because they did not have access to medication, but I could be completely wrong. Medics should have been on the field 24/7, ready to go at all times. Why are people having seizures at your event, MrBeast? What the heck? I heard people were being pushed and shoved by males. I received an email yesterday checking how they're going to check footage, and because they take violence seriously, they should have done this during the game and not after the fact. I would say most of the challenges were definitely geared towards strong and fast men. Yeah, I mean, if you got eliminated and then the next day you realized they cheated, that would be completely messed up and probably illegal. Like, because despite the fact that this is like a game show or whatever the hell, they have to follow certain rules, or you're just, I don't know, wasting people's time and essentially lying to them and breaking your contract. When all the contestants arrived back to the hotel, we were supposed to have flights booked for us to go home. I woke up the next day and with no flight information. With so many contestants trying to go home, I heard they would not have all the flights booked until a few days later. That is so messed up. I had to book my own flight and use money out of my own pocket because I couldn't wait that long because I had to return to work. They're going to reimburse us, but there's no telling when I will see the money. They gave out Feastable chocolates. Oh yes, the 30 grams of sugar. Gotta load everyone up with some diabetes real quick. My group hoarded chocolate because we weren't sure when the next time they would feed us, and we were afraid we would get hungry. I mean, honestly, this stuff sounds straight out of a survival horror movie or something like that, where there's some evil game show lord who is messing with the peasants and shit like that. I don't know how much of this is legit, how much of this is confirmed, but I can't say there have been multiple people reporting the exact same thing with the nurses in the hospital, with the contestants.
The statement I just read doesn't even cover the half of what I'm hearing. I'm also waiting for confirmation that there were only 2 ambulances for well over 2,000 people, the contestants, including the entire crew. And I'm speaking with someone from the crew right now to get confirmation about how many people were on the crew.
Now here's a picture that I probably blurred. It's essentially somebody's leg that is badly bruised, and apparently they have broken bones after attending this Beast Games event or whatever, and they got brutally assaulted. Another contestant says no medications, no undergarments, despite supplying 5 days of only electrolytes were Gatorade handed out, ran out of meals for people, water would run out, was not a safe space. Many of us knew it would be mentally challenging, but the danger we were put in and lack of care was unexpected. No clear communication between staff, making it worse. People were prepared to go into a MrBeast challenge. They obviously know it can be challenging because they've watched the videos, but they weren't there to be literally tortured. You know, from some of these stories, if these are true, this is torture, all right? Denying somebody food, water, medication, and, you know, basic sanitation is absolutely insane. One contestant noted production staff hired locally were treated poorly, with some working shifts in excess of 24 hours in a row. Medications such as inhalers, contact lenses, feminine hygiene products were surrendered, which caused concern among the production's medical staff. Yeah, that is really weird. Why are you confiscating medication? In like, what challenge will their inhaler possibly help them? Oh my god, you need to breathe? I'm sorry, no breathing allowed in a MrBeast challenge. Contestants were asked to give production team several pair of undergarments, which were not returned upon disqualification. That is crazy. Stealing people's underpants is nah. You taking my underwear, we have beef for life. Okay, I'm sorry. sorry. That is crazy, bro. MrBeast representative says this information is inaccurate. What a great elaboration. It's just inaccurate, guys. Is Chris even my friend? Inaccurate. Just, yeah. Didn't know any of this, actually. Am I doing illegal lotteries on YouTube for children? Inaccurate, actually. A hospital employee told us, I'm aware of 3 or 4 hospital evacs today. Overnight shift said it was insane, so not sure if or how many hospital evacs were there. Production is a shit show and unprepared for the scale, making decisions as they go along. The bare bones medic staff on site is not adequate and were overwhelmed last night. They compete at night. The first MrBeast Beast Games video is being suppressed in every country outside the US on TikTok. Rosanna put out this video saying, I'm being silenced, #Beast Games.
The first video I made about MrBeast and his Beast Games is being suppressed and restricted on TikTok as of today. I was simply telling one of the contestants' stories who talks about what appears to have been a very dangerous and mismanaged set. The video I posted is now only viewable in the US. It is blocked in every other country. As of right now, someone is trying to silence me. I'll let you guys try and guess who would do something like that. If MrBeast continues to run the show like he has so far, I truly believe something tragic could happen.
Okay, that is extremely weird to say the least. Why is that video being blocked in countries outside the US? I don't know, just sounds pretty sus, alright? Now, Rosanna also posted a video where she claims that someone told her that MrBeast requested Beast Games be non-union.
As I mentioned before, I'm in touch with crew members and people working on Beast Games. I've also been in contact with the people who are the IATSE union, both in Las Vegas, where the first week of shooting happened, as well in Canada, where the next round will be shooting. They are the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, and they represent the people behind the scenes who make TV shows and movies. They have over 168,000 members, and pretty much every large set I've ever been on, it's IATSE crews. A higher up in the industry who I trust more than anything, they said that Jimmy and his team specifically requested that Beast Games be non-union, mainly so Jimmy wouldn't have to pay the crew benefits, but also these unions require very strict safety guidelines. Dear members of IATSE, MrBeast has been deemed an unfair production. As per Section 12 of the Constitution and bylaws, no member of IATSE is permitted to work on this production. No member of local shall work on any job that is declared unfair. He wants to hire union workers, he wants the quality, but he doesn't want to pay for them. In my opinion, and from the stories that I've heard, Jimmy pays very little and did not want to cover people's benefits. Amazon gave Jimmy $100 million to make this game show. That is plenty of money to make a safe show. And I want to know, where's the money going?
Okay, that is a serious accusation because MrBeast always parades around as a very generous person, oftentimes just giving money randomly. So if it came out that he's trying to skirt past like safety rules and pay people less, it would be a massive scandal. I think all MrBeast fans need to know about the situation for their own safety if they want to compete in one of these events, and in general, just having complete knowledge about the creators that they're watching, right? All right, so that was just part 1 of the Beast Games allegations. As we know, it does get much worse later with a class action lawsuit initiated by the contestants against MrBeast. But shout out to the people who brought this to light, like Rosanna Pansino, who was constantly speaking out about it despite being called clout hungry and getting just a ton of criticism regarding it. Even when I covered this on my channel, a lot of people were saying this was not legit criticism, it's not real, and people were just lying because they didn't win any money. But it seems to be there was actually some shady stuff going on. And the thing is, it is very easy for MrBeast to actually disprove all of these allegations. In fact, while filming a video, MrBeast has about 100 cameras recording everything at all times, right? So he can just release the footage and he's instantly proved innocent. But instead, MrBeast has not done that and is literally getting sued right now for this and for a whole bunch of other things as well. Now we're going to get into a few side chapters here regarding the MrBeast employees, particularly a man named Chucky, who tried to save MrBeast's reputation, but instead made it 10 times worse with one of the worst responses ever. Now, it turns out a member of MrBeast's team named Chucky messaged me on Twitter claiming to debunk the allegations in Dogpack's video, saying that Dawson was just a salty employee. Now, according to his Twitter bio, Chucky is the co-founder of ViewStats and runs the MrBeast Ideas and Thumbnails team, but it seems like Chucky is also his PR team, considering he's messaging anyone who made videos about MrBeast, trying to get them to swap sides here. So let's check out this tweet that Chucky made, so-called debunking the allegations. I quickly want to debunk some of the info in this video since the guy who made it was on my team. It was my decision to fire him for erratic behavior. He worked at the company for less than a month and wasn't an employee on most of the videos he mentions to have knowledge on. There's so much in his video, and I want to specifically address him, saying that our videos are fake or staged because this is not true and is on set for many of these videos. Okay, Future Pegasus here. Just looking back, this response was even worse than I thought, because addressing the allegations of faking the videos is obviously the least important one by far, right? And not only that, it is the most impossible one to defend, considering we can literally see it and have eyes, right? We now know that most of the videos are rigged in some manner and faked. Just in the most recent video, we saw the men versus women survival team. Women team had experienced trained survivalists from Naked and Afraid. The men's did not. That is enough to already be rigged in favor for the women, which we know that MrBeast does for PR reasons, because men can't be allowed to beat the women at a challenge, apparently. Not to mention fake exploring stormy caves that are literally tourist attractions, pretending to be in abandoned cities, and much more, right? We know a lot of the shit is fake, so just looking back at this is really funny. Chucky attempting to defend it. You would think that Chucky is going to address the 5 main allegations that I laid out at the start of this video, right? Turns out, Chucky starts talking about whether or not a guy winked, or if a raccoon is a paid actor or something. Like, all the most insignificant garbage that nobody actually cares about. You won't get in a video unless your family or friends are someone that works at MrBeast. This is a wild statement that can easily be proven wrong. There's probably hundreds or thousands of people who have no affiliation to friends or family of MrBeast employees. Think about the 456 people in Squid Game, or ages 1 to 100. Jimmy doesn't know more than like a dozen people, lol. Okay, first off, Jimmy obviously knows more than a dozen people. He has like 50 YouTubers friends already, all right? So nice job, Chucky. Already made a mistake. Second, I don't think anybody cares if some of the people in MrBeast videos are random, okay? In fact, it's actually worse that some people are random and some people are employees or friends of MrBeast, because there is video evidence that the MrBeast team favors certain contestants and manipulates the game shows. For example, in the 100 Boys vs. Girls video, MrBeast pays the one guy from the guys team that can solve the Rubik's Cube to actually leave, meaning the girls team would have a way higher chance of winning. So that is literal manipulation of the results. Not to mention some of the contestants work for him, and obviously that will shift the odds in any team-based game if one of MrBeast's employees just randomly leaves, right? Like Mac in that one video. The train track was CGI, the bus wheels are CGI, the pit is fake. He acts like exposing us for using CGI to make backgrounds look cool when we have done multiple public behind-the-scenes videos with So Crispy showing this. It's clearly not a secret. On top of that, we did drive buses in that pit, and same with the train that you claim we didn't. Listen, Chucky, all right? You are dodging all the main accusations of Dogpack's video. You're just addressing the dumb little stuff that nobody cares about. Nobody cares if MrBeast uses CGI in some of his videos, okay? Some of the points in Dawson's video were to build a bigger picture for the more serious accusations. It's the first video on his channel. It's not going to be perfect, all right? You did not address the main allegations like the illegal lotteries, dude. The raccoon was a paid actor. I don't even know what to say about this. Clearly not an actor, lol. Somebody put up the facepalm. Do you know what a joke is, Chucky? This is, okay, this is pathetic. I don't even know what the hell I'm reading. I can see why you're not actually on the PR team, all right? You should have stuck to your job, buddy. Island costs more than $1. Not true. We did pay $1 for this island. You can Google MrBeast purchases Outer Banks Island for $1, which stated this before the video was released. He moved into a mansion 2 months before being in a video, $1 million mansion. He talks about how 2 months before we filmed the first Mac video that he moved into a mansion. Mac was staying at a friend's house, and I'm not sure how that proves anything or why it's relevant. The reason it's relevant is that it completely destroys the narrative that Mac is like a struggling person whose life is going to change once he wins this life-changing MrBeast money, when behind the scenes, Mac was always chilling because he got bajillionaire MrBeast as his buddy who would pretty much do anything for him, right? Not to mention, MrBeast favors Mac over many of the contestants. It's pretty obvious. One of the challenges, Mac literally just got out first on purpose and was awarded a car. Yeah, a car for getting last place, it seems, because obviously beforehand, something must have been scheming. Maybe MrBeast told him, oh, get out first, I'll give you a car. That is likely what happened, because how else is he gonna know, right? This wink was added in post. Bruh, he really did wink. This is a flat out lie again. Bruh, put the bruh sound effect. Bruh. Imagine having allegations of conducting illegal lotteries, promoting gambling to kids, and all these other horrid things, right? And then you got Chucky on your team who responds with, but did this person really wink? Did they actually close their eyes halfway, or was it real or fake? Dude, way to deflect absolutely everything. Congrats, you made it 10 times worse for MrBeast here. The revenge storyline was added in post. He implies that 42 and 58 were scripted and not real. The contestants themselves have talked about this on streams they did after the video. They legit did not like each other. He also claimed 58 was on the far opposite side and didn't hear him. Just because he was on the other side of the room, you don't think 58 heard him yell? How on earth would he know? Okay, so you're not denying it, and you're not even saying that, oh, they definitively knew. You're basically saying, how would he know? It's called an educated guess. It's called, providing proof and evidence and trying to back it up like that. Unlike what you've done here, you've just been like, trust me, bro. You have provided zero evidence. Sorry for getting heated, man. This is just annoying. You have provided zero evidence for what you've said. Dogpack at least cites portions from the videos he talks about and provides some sort of evidence for his allegations. Meanwhile, you're like, trust me, bro, I worked for MrBeast, it just didn't happen. How on earth can we trust you when MrBeast is paying your salary and you got zero proof for anything? Like, I don't know, bro, a screenshot, a voice recording, like anything, maybe get the people on. I mean, you're part of the MrBeast team. You can make a 1 hour long video. In fact, you guys specialize in making videos, yet you can't make a video responding to this. You don't even have to do it on the main channel, on like a separate channel. He has like 50 channels. Come on one of them, post a response. The only reason you wouldn't is if you're admitting guilt here, all right? And you're responding to a 1 hour long video in a single tweet. That is just not acceptable, and you have to address the major points. Otherwise, people are not going to buy it. Not only were the results of this video completely scripted, but the contestants are not random subscribers. He claims our 100 boys versus 100 girls video is scripted, and the proof is a random text saying it is. That's it. It was not scripted. Jimmy probably had countless people on set for that video, and it would have been impossible to hide. The video was not scripted. I was on set for this, and there was no bias for who won. Okay, Chucky, we need to talk. There is no bias for who won? Now you're just lying, and I wasn't even there, and I can tell, because we can see in MrBeast's final edited video that there was bias with the Rubik's Cube thing that I just pointed out. MrBeast even says in the video something along the lines of, I paid the guy who can solve, the Rubik's Cube to leave. That is literally bias. He is favoring the girls team in that clip. Do you have any idea what you're talking about, Chucky? Can you stop glazing him for 1 second and open your eyes, Mr. Chuck? He also implies that the video is fake because we have some employees on each team. The employees in the video were there to fill in for people who tested positive for thing last minute right before filming. Thea, Jimmy's girlfriend, mentioned this on a podcast over a year ago. If it wasn't for sickness, they would have not been in it. They had the same money on the line as everyone else. Some random text of someone thinking it was rigged doesn't mean it's rigged, lol. Okay, so you admit there were employees in the team. It doesn't really matter if you put them there because somebody was sick. It still greatly affects the video by having MrBeast controlled puppets installed into the teams who can rig the competition in their own way, right? Because they work for MrBeast, all right? And in these kind of game shows, it kind of needs to be fair for everybody because there's actually like laws regarding this. So there's clearly some element of rigging the competition because a lot of the employees seem to just randomly leave without actually putting in their full effort, right? And now each team will have unequal active members, which obviously tips the scale of balance, right? He also suggested the real-time video is fake. This is not fake. It was a nightmare to make this video, and it was legit filmed in 10 minutes. Amazing defense. It's not fake, guys. Source? Trust me, bro. Trust me. I was actually there. I actually worked for MrBeast. You don't have a source. You have zero evidence. Not even a 5-year-old who believes in Santa is buying that video was real, all right? Also, I think some of the MrBeast giveaways are fake. We do not fake giveaways. I've been hands-on with some of them and have personally been the person to connect winners with our accounting department to get paid. You also suggested we didn't spend $1 million on Samsung phones, and I can assure you we did. Another lie from you. Okay, so just because you didn't fake some of the giveaways doesn't mean that all of them were legit. Why are there so many people complaining on places like Reddit that they didn't get the stuff they were promised? In fact, listen, I get the fact that some people are sore losers or just salty and, you know, they might be making up stuff to take MrBeast down or something like that. But the amount of people coming out with these accusations is a bit ridiculous. And a lot of the other accusations are backed up by evidence. So I don't know, we're all just supposed to trust you for some reason. I could keep going, but I don't want this to be long. You should have kept going, please. Dawson himself said on Reddit that he was on shrooms and weed when filming this video, which might explain some of the made up stuff. Dawson was only employed from March 25, 2024 and was let go on April 19, 2024. He was on a 90-day trial and we ended it early and paid him out on June 25. As we guaranteed the 90 days of pay so he could transition into a new job. I'd appreciate it if everyone reading this could help dispel all this fake rumors by spreading this info. Don't worry, Chucky, I'm spreading this info. I read out your entire statement, start to finish. You should be thanking me, Chucky. Jimmy spends unfathomable amounts of money and time to ensure the integrity of what he does, and I hate to see it come into question with a bunch of lies. Dawson, if you leave this up, then you're a hypocrite. No, actually, Chucky, you're just a paid shill for MrBeast, and when I asked you in DMs for clarification regarding these allegations, what did you do? That's right, you didn't even respond. It's been over 2 days. I'm waiting for a response. I gave you a chance to respond, and clearly you had nothing to say about stuff like the illegal lottery because a lot of this stuff is indefensible and has a ton of proof. Now, Dawson actually responds to this tweet with his own debunking of the debunking, so we'll get to that soon, but first, we gotta check out the replies. Fake signatures, fake lotteries, rigging competitions, employee who keeps winning, promoting gambling to kids, changing ingredients in Feastables to make them very unhealthy, and rigging the chocolate factory competition. Being exposed for the hide-and-seek competition and more all had evidence. You responded to the most mindless criticisms and jokes, lol. Couple problems with the statement. First, a lot of your evidence is just, it didn't happen, lol. Trust me, bro. Basically just a he said, she said type of situation. You're all part of the biggest YouTube channel out there. You have a responsibility to be ethical. Exactly. And the reason a lot of people are caring about this is because MrBeast is an influence on 300 million people, all right? He influences an entire generation, all right? And we gotta make sure the top guy is clean, okay? Biggest issue is that MrB has concocted a business that gets 10-year-old kids addicted to gambling by associating it with dopamine hits coming not only from gambling, but also from chocolate. Okay, so Dogpack or Dawson has responded here, debunking your debunking. Good character assassination attempt. You guys leave out my unpaid trial period and also my time working for Idea Guys, a company for which MrBeast is a client. The founder of Idea Guys also had to get permission from MrBeast to hire me, so weird you guys wouldn't tell him I was erratic. Also, weed and shrooms was an obvious joke. Nah. Chucky is allergic to sarcasm. He only speaks one language, and that's the ancient dialect of MrBeast glazing 24/7. Jimmy doesn't know more than like a dozen people. You expect people to believe this? How many people do his employees know? Who was the contestant in Train vs. Pit? How about Lambo vs. Shredder? How did Ava's cousin Justin get into the Chocolate Factory video? Or Della Vlogs? CGI is clearly not a secret. Okay, cool. So when Jimmy was accused of using too much CGI in Train vs. Pit, why did he deny it on Twitter? The raccoon was a paid actor. Bro, you expect people to believe Chris and Chandler were just petting a actual wild raccoon? From your own source in the island, the transfer tax was $1. The company also paid $27 in tax and fees, and you leased it back to the owner, so that's $28. I feel like this is a minor point, but considering Chucky bought it up, I understand why he's refuting this. The wink was added in post. It was. Compare that wink to the contestant's other winks in the other scenes or none of his TikToks. His mouth always partially opens, but that doesn't happen here because in the original footage, it was a blink, altered to match the false revenge narrative. I hate how Dawson has to respond to these absolutely tiny, inconsequential things that Chucky brought up. It's just annoying. Like, we should be focusing on all the major accusations here. Interesting how you didn't mention altering the timers or contestant dialogue in post. I think it's because these are pretty undeniable, honestly. Not only were the results of this video completely scripted, but the contestants are not random subscribers. You acknowledge that the contestants were not random subscribers, but refuse to acknowledge the clear rigging, which can be seen multiple times on camera. Please watch Upper Echelon's video analyzing case law regarding this rigging. Also, I've now heard from people on the boys team that they were fed much later than the girls, and the production was clearly favoring the girls. This is a typo. Upper Echelon's video also goes into the alleged illegal lotteries, which he describes as seemingly completely indefensible. You conveniently forgot to address those as well. Now hide my reply, cause you're guilty. Okay, great response by Dawson here. Pretty much completely shut down Chucky. And honestly, the alleged illegal lotteries is really scary for MrBeast because I noticed they seem to be taking down any evidence of those live streams online. It was apparently uploaded on Facebook and has since been taken down as well, which is very suspicious. You know, not making any accusations, but very interesting timing by the Beast team, you know, trying to sweep it under the rug, it seems. All right, so that was Chucky the fake PR guy's response. Obviously, the MrBeast team discussed this response and just had Chucky posted instead of MrBeast, so any heat would be directed at Chucky instead of Beast. But honestly, this was just a bad move on their part because they ignored all the serious allegations and made people even more suspicious regarding the whole situation, right? Now, behind the scenes, MrBeast was actually doing a lot to silence people regarding this drama, and it didn't just stop at deleting comments and deleting videos. MrBeast actually ended up sending Dogpack404 a cease and desist, and this absolutely blew up because threatening to sue someone who is exposing you is an absolute no-no on the internet. It's kind of like copy striking someone who made a critical video on you, right? The entire community just sort of automatically hates you for that because they know you have something to hide and you're trying to intimidate people with your lawyers and your money. Dogpack404 has just posted that he got a cease and desist from the MrBeast legal team. So clearly, MrBeast was not happy with being accused of conducting illegal lotteries, faking the game show videos, and all of the other stuff we talked about in my previous videos. Step 1 was to send Chucky the fake PR guy to message people to stop making videos. And step 2 is to just use your billions of dollars to bully and silence people. Not gonna lie, this is a horribly bad look for MrBeast because if you want to silence someone like this, it's probably possible that you might have some serious things to hide. So let's just go over the whole situation, the 2 separate cease and desist, and Dogpack's response to the situation, because not gonna lie, it's pretty funny. Okay, so Dogpack posted in his community tab, cease and desist, D's nut, and we got cease and desist, immediate attention required. Dear Mr. Dogpack, doesn't want to leak his name. Satan, Lord of Darkness, represents your former employer, MrBeast YouTube LLC. I'm writing to you regarding your recent troubling conduct following your involuntary termination from employment with the company on April 19. Specifically, it has recently come to the company's attention that you have been, among other things, disclosing sensitive, confidential, and proprietary information regarding the company's business operations and content creation methodology in a breach of your contractual and legal obligations as a company, including the contractual post-employment obligations set forth in the confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement executed by you in connection with your employment. Okay, so MrBeast is bringing up the NDA, which basically forbids you from talking about the operations of the company and his confidential role at MrBeast, right? Now, I'm not a lawyer, but from what I understand, NDAs are not enforceable if you're actually doing something illegal, because then the person is just reporting a crime, which you should do. Also, Dogpack was actually very careful in his initial expose video to only use publicly available information to expose MrBeast, and he's actually had his lawyer review what he posts online. So it seems like he's good and he hasn't actually violated any contracts there. Now, Jimmy can't really do anything in this situation except maybe take him to court and maybe try to bully him with money, but that's also probably not going to work. And my guess is if needed, people would gladly crowdfund Dogpack's legal expenses as well. So here's what people are saying. Remember, guys, Dogpack404 is not game ending himself, implying that somebody's gonna send a hitman after him. I hired 100 serial killers to assassinate a former employee who exposed me. When you tear out a man's tongue, you are not proving him a liar. You're only telling the world that you fear what he might say. Now, it turns out Dogpack has actually posted a response on Twitter, and it is absolutely hilarious. Okay, he made one of those meme videos, but I can't actually play the music, so I'll just read it out, right? Cease and desist response and update.
So, MrBeast's legal team did send me a cease and desist, and here's my official response to that.
You want to see slander? MrBeast hiding peepees at his company. Obviously referencing Chris Tyson there. But he does charity, guys. Of course, anyone that does charity can do absolutely nothing wrong. Other charity MFers, we got Jimmy Savile and Jeffrey boy. Don't forget this philanthropist. Okay, I'm not putting the German guy in my video, all right? Where's this money actually go? As of today, all 34 million pounds of trash from Team C's has been removed from the ocean and verified by a third party. This is calling out his Team C's campaign too. You said you were saving the ocean. 991 days to clean up 8 hours of plastic pollution. 90 million pounds per day, an estimated 90 million pounds of plastic enter the ocean every day. And you did 34 million pounds in 991 days. Actually bringing up good points here. Oh my God. NASA engineer can't do research? No, he's calling out Mark Rober. Nearly all environmental scientists agree that ocean plastic pollution isn't a problem we can clean our way out of. Or was your charity working for Coca-Cola? 56 companies are responsible for the 50% of the world's plastic pollution. Ay, ay, ay. Beast philanthropy selling out to the highest bidder. Of course. Gotta dance on him. The only MrBeast member I trust. Gotta have Chandler in there. Safest MrBeast challenge, and somebody's getting sliced up. Cool. MrBeast uploaded a new video. Oh, this is good. This is some commentary humor right here. MrBeast after running illegal lotteries for children. Commentary YouTuber. Guys, we made it. We have officially made it. Commentary YouTubers versus MrBeast clone. Oh, that's so good. That is so good. MrBeast carefully crafting the worst chocolate you've ever tasted in your life. Feastables, of course. XQC and XQC has negative IQ. Let's not even talk about the guy. He reacted to my video and tried his absolute hardest to defend MrBeast. I don't know if these guys are all in cahoots or something, but this is crazy. Pokemon reacting. A classic. Put us on in there as well. Jacksepticeye being right all along. This is in reference to when Jacksepticeye said that MrBeast ruined YouTube with all of his highly edited, ultra-produced garbage. All right, which unrelated to the situation, but I like my boy Jack. MrBeast trying not to use charity as a shield from criticism for 5 seconds. Okay, I can always respect a good SpongeBob meme, all right? I'm the king of SpongeBob memes, as you guys know. MrBeast in front of his $60 million studio explaining how he's actually poor and pretending like he hasn't owned this Model X plate for a year. Oh, who's that, Jimmy, in the car next to you? Who could that possibly be? MrBeast running for president while never taking a stance on anything. Also, who's gonna vote for him? They're all under 5. MrBeast explaining why dropshipping burger is actually a genius idea. That was a complete disaster, by the way. Me forging my mom's signature on my report card. POV, you're a minor in 2024. Run as fast as you can. It's everybody. Chris Discord mods discussing the anime drop. Okay. Independent third-party investigation. We actually investigated ourselves and found nothing wrong here. Now, Dogpack actually made some follow-up tweets here. Some updates. I was originally going to expose MrBeast's philanthropy efforts being more for aiding private interests and boosting MrBeast's image than actually doing anything good. But in this investigation, I came across something far more interesting that no one else has ever found. Part 2 will be far more damaging to MrBeast's career than Part 1. As far as MrBeast's largest fundraiser Team C's, it's pretty well known that it had no statistically significant impact on ocean pollution, so people say it's better than nothing. It's a drastic oversimplification that doesn't factor in the money, time, effort, and carbon costs associated with raising the money and removing the trash. Also, where did the trash go? Landfills, where over time it will break down into microplastics that blow right back into the ocean, or recycling plants? Team C's also promoted the false narrative that plastic pollution is a problem solvable by people, when they put the Beast Burger guy in charge of saving the ocean. In this interview with MKBHD, MrBeast even acknowledges that it was not actually about the impact of removing 30 million pounds of trash, but Team C's was frequently advertised as a way to save the ocean.
It's not necessarily about the 30 million pounds, it's about the inspiration, it's about the positive net influence of people coming together and demonstrating something powerful, so.
Yep. And just showing that people care, honestly.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I thought you were actually saving the ocean, dude. That's some false advertising there. Jesus Christ. I thought we donate money to you and then you go and clean up the ocean.
You help us save the ocean. I'm trying to raise some money to help save the ocean. I'm gonna lie and go with it so we, raise money to save the ocean. If you want to see me and Mark Rober suffer and save the ocean, you gotta save the ocean.
Okay, so I get that MrBeast is trying to do a good thing, but lying about the impact it has is not really good. You need to be completely transparent with everybody, especially if they're going to be giving you money. MrBeast and Mark Rober also went on to promote single-use plastic garbage. This video by Stay goes more in depth on this. So why did Team C's never mention corporate pollution or push for a ban on unnecessary single-use plastics? Instead, push the narrative that this is a problem that is solvable by people and cleanup efforts. Could it be that 50% of the money went to their Peter Thiel funded startup whose largest sponsor is Coca-Cola? Wow, this is actually a pretty huge scandal, not gonna lie. Now, it turns out after seeing all these videos on him and seeing how this story is just going omega viral, turns out the MrBeast team is panicking really hard. Apparently, he sent yet another warning to Dogpack 404. Cease and desist, final warning. Final warning before what, Jimmy? What exactly do you want to do to Dogpack here? Beast actually trying to be a cartoon anime villain here with this BS legal stuff. Dogpack says, new one, double it and give it to the next person. Cease and desist, final warning. Dear Mr. Dogpack 404, a new firm whose white-collar criminal defense practice is second to none, according to the website, has recently been retained by MrBeast and its founder, Jimmy Donaldson, regarding the unsettling news that you have embarked on a campaign to disparage MrBeast as a company and defame Jimmy Donaldson as an individual. Not only are your statements about MrBeast and Jimmy Donaldson untrue, then prove it. You have all the footage, but instead of posting any, you've just been deleting more. They also violate the clear, binding, enforceable terms of your NDA. Okay, Mr. NDA, which you have shown in videos posted to the internet. Also, my number got leaked apparently from a MrBeast employee named Kaylee. I've been getting texts from former MrBeast employees. Text I received last night claims that James wants to have private investigators start following me and looking into my family's social media accounts to find ways to discredit me. We are actually in a movie, guys. Apparently, the best narrative they have right now is that I'm crazy, drug-addicted MrBeast superfan that got fired for trying to steal company funds. If this text is true, I will say, MrBeast, if you want to resort to personal attacks, I'm happy to reciprocate. Or, just address the evidence. Here we got some screenshots. Dude, has anyone at Beast contacted you about the posts you're making? I've been reading the NDA over to see what I can and can't post because I'd like to move on with my life and try having some type of social media presence. Not planning on ever mentioning I worked at Beast, but if it got out or somehow, some way I accidentally mentioned it, I wanted to make sure I was going to get sued to all hell. Also, I got your number from Kaylee. I don't have access to anything Beast like Slack or anything. Dawson, I'm texting you anonymously to let you know that I've heard James wants to have private investigators start following you and looking into every detail of your life. He wants them to reach out to all your former employers, find all of your social media accounts, your family's social media accounts, videos of you, anything. They already have a Google Doc listing possible ways to discredit you, including you're on drugs and have mental health problems, your mom is bipolar, you were an obsessed superfan, you were crying begging for your job back after they fired you, you tried to steal company funds, etc. I don't know what's true and what's not, but personally, I really think you should just take everything down ASAP. If you take it down, they'll leave you alone. You're trolling. What? This is an actual super villain message. Okay, again, not saying MrBeast sent this, not saying anyone associated with MrBeast sent this. It is all alleged. Now, Nathan, one of the Chris Tyson victims, actually posted the website that hosted the Chris Tyson from MrBeast Discord leaks was taken down yesterday morning and served with what we can only assume is a cease and desist. They terminated everything to do with the website with no notice. We'll not stop until these files are published and remain available to the public. I think it is public now, but it seems like the team is trying to take down absolutely everything relating to these Discord servers, the illegal lottery streams, trying to silence the whistleblowers as well. Honestly, this is absolutely insane by MrBeast, sending him cease and desist, attempting to silence a whistleblower, or possibly bully him in court using your insane stack of money is just such a bad look. Alright, so obviously these cease and desists were part of an intimidation tactic by the MrBeast team to get Dogpack to quietly shut up and go away and no longer expose MrBeast or make any follow-up videos. Now, Dogpack obviously ignored all of the warnings and continued posting more damning info regarding MrBeast, calling into question his Team C's campaign and much more. Now, it turns out on the cease and desist, there was actually a date. I think it was around like August something, not really sure. But it basically said that if Dogpack had not deleted all his videos by this date, MrBeast would be pursuing actual legal action, right? And suing him for defamation. But turns out the date has long since passed, and from what we know, Dogpack has not been sued by MrBeast. And my guess is there are two reasons for this. Number one, MrBeast is afraid of discovery. Basically, in a legal process, there is a phase called discovery where you can get evidence from other parties by interrogations, requests for documents, or requests for admissions, and a lot of things essentially end up coming to light in this process. You know, you can find out people's expenses, where money's coming and going, who's being hired, where, and deep dive into exactly what is happening, when, and where. And obviously MrBeast has done some serious shady stuff, so he would want to avoid any sort of discovery finding out illegal things regarding his sketchy lotteries or anything similar of that sort. And number two, second reason is that suing Dogpack would probably cause a public uproar and result in even more videos being made about MrBeast. The Streisand effect, basically, where you attempt to get rid of something and it just blows up in your face even more. And obviously a lawsuit can be a year-long process, maybe even several years, which is why he probably didn't want to go through that headache as well. Pretty ironic considering he's being sued now himself and he was the one threatening lawsuits. Anyways, after all those intimidation tactics, we had even more updates to the Beast Game situation. First off, the story regarding Beast Games has actually gone mainstream because the New York Times put out an article titled "Willing to Die for MrBeast and $5 million." The contestants in the internet star's Beast Games expected outlandish challenges and signed contracts that acknowledged risks of serious injury and death. Still, few were prepared for the conditions on set. Basically, it had a lot of allegations towards MrBeast, saying that the conditions of filming were just horrible, with contestants allegedly getting injured, allegedly given medication late, apparently even took their underpants for some reason and then forgot to give it back for a long time. Lots of wacky allegations. Here's a couple highlights from the article. Over a dozen people who participated in the first installment of Beast Games said that they had not received adequate food or medical care, and that some competitors had suffered injuries from the physical challenges. Another described watching fellow contestants vomiting and appearing to pass out. There were several hospitalizations. That's obviously not good, not something you want to see happen in a sort of innocent game show. We signed up for the show, but we didn't sign up for not being fed or watered or treated like human beings, one contestant told the Times. Like many of the people who appeared in MrBeast's YouTube videos, some of the contestants said that they needed the cash to pay for things like student loans and medical debt. After learning that they would be competing against twice as many people, some said they felt they had been misled about the odds of winning. Apparently, they thought they'd be competing against 1,000 people, but it turned out to be 2,000 instead. One meal described by several contestants included a tiny portion of cold oatmeal, one hard-boiled egg, and a few pieces of raw vegetables. We're all just looking up at the sky, screaming at him like he's God, one contestant said. Guards dressed entirely in black, complete with face coverings, flanked the field. I guess it was sort of to emulate that Squid Game vibe, but some people might think that it's a bit dystopian, you know, like you're actually bringing it to life. Despite reassurance that contestants' medications would be distributed to them when needed, several contestants said they had not received their medication on time, including one contestant who needed insulin. That is actually really bad, instead of receiving it hours or even days after their scheduled dosing times. Yeah, this could lead to some serious problems, especially things like insulin. One contestant said that she had initially been denied the food she required to take her medication and had been told by staff members that she didn't actually need to eat. After asking repeatedly allegedly, she was given half a banana. Why half? Why not the full thing? What's going on here? Here's the part about the alleged underpants taking. Contestants were instructed to supply the production staff with a Ziploc bag containing 5 days worth of undergarments, which would be distributed to contestants once the games were underway. But several contestants said that they had waited hours or even days to receive their clean underwear. Ain't no way this guy's making them wear dirty underwear, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, we actually have some details about the challenges. Allegedly, there were 3 challenges. I know what they are because the contestants told me, but I'm not sure I'm allowed to reveal it, so I'm only going to say what's in the article here, right? The first challenge involved 5 teams of 400 people pulling ropes attached to 10,000-pound weights as fast as possible. The issues began, participants said, when they were broken into those teams. A scramble for team pennies quickly became chaotic and frightening. Several said, describing a crush of people pushing and shoving other contestants while the production staff was unable to calm the crowd. One contestant described hyperventilating amid the scene. Another said that she had been almost horizontal and had feared being trampled. Yeah, this is the issue, having physical challenges when your contestants are male, female, and elderly as well, because obviously the young and fit guys are just going to absolutely body everyone, and there should be some rules against that. You can't just, roughhouse people and, win that way, right? I don't know. I feel like the challenges chosen should have been something that's like more similar to the Squid Game stuff where, you're cutting out a little bit of a cookie or something like that where, where there's no like obvious advantages to certain groups of people, right? Now, the article ends with an ominous line. They had signed a contract that they were willing to die for this. Now, in defense of MrBeast, I'm pretty sure that's like standard practice in like reality TV or game shows and stuff like that. But of course, people are not expecting to die in a game like this. These contracts are just to waive any liability if people get injured or something like that, right? Here's some of the top comments. When suffering and debasement are the conditions of so-called charity, what actually is taking place is exploitation. It's not philanthropy, so please don't call it that. It's internet entertainment of the worst kind. This guy's indicative of exactly what's wrong with the world right now. The fact that he has millions of followers only proves my point. I've always thought that the philanthropy is a little bit separate, right? Like if he's building homes for people in Africa, that's obviously amazing and stuff like that. But if he needs to do something for entertainment or content, I understand that. But obviously, people need to be safe, right? You can't be having these sort of mismanaged conditions there, allegedly, right? Looking forward to the episode of MrBeast where his victims sue him into bankruptcy. All right, so as I said, all those are allegations. I personally do not know what went down there because I personally wasn't there, but there seem to be a lot of reports from a lot of people that are concerning. Okay, so that's when I imagine the situation started getting very real for MrBeast because it wasn't just random YouTubers covering it anymore. Actual established mainstream news outlets were covering the situation, and the things being reported were absolutely awful. Now, because of the drama ramping up, MrBeast videos were actually getting disliked quite a bit. Only problem is YouTube actually removed the dislike button, so nobody could be certain 100%. Here we have a tweet about the dislikes on the video. MrBeast might be cooked actually. 500k plus dislikes in an hour and still counting on his latest video. Jimmy and his team are also deleting all the comments mentioning the Chris Tyson situation. Is this the downfall of MrBeast? And he's attached a screenshot with 900k likes and 500k dislikes, which seemingly looks bad. And he's attached a video where you're trying to click the replies of a comment, but it disappears because that comment is getting deleted in real time. Basically, anybody being sort of critical towards MrBeast or anybody pointing out any of these situations, any of the many dramas, and mentioning Dogpack, they're probably sort of like banned from his comment section, right? Now, this tweet actually got community noted. YouTube stopped reporting dislikes in 2021. The number reported in the image is an estimate based on an extension called Return YouTube Dislike. It is calculated from dislikes submitted by extension users and can overestimate the actual number of dislikes on a video. Okay, basically people are saying that it's not that many dislikes, right? Now, it turns out Drama Alert reached out to the MrBeast team to get the actual dislikes on the video. We apologize. We just deleted a tweet showing 500k dislikes on MrBeast's new upload. This info came up from a third-party app that allows you to see the dislikes. Fellow creators reached out saying that the third-party app is not to be trusted. We also got in contact with MrBeast, and here's a screenshot of allegedly the actual dislikes on the video, which is only 4,099.6%, which is definitely sus. The current dislikes directly from the MrBeast team. Chucky, the fake PR guy, responded as well. Here's a video in case anyone thinks it's fake. The Chrome extension saying it had 1 million dislikes is false. And Chucky has attached this video where he's scrolling and pulls up the dislikes, and you can see 20,000 dislikes there and 99.1% ratio. He's refreshed it a couple times to prove that it's real. Now, do I believe the MrBeast team is lying about these dislikes? I cannot say, okay? I just know that this Chucky guy will do absolutely anything to get good PR for MrBeast, and the math does not add up. The amount of people commenting about this controversy and knowing about the MrBeast drama, the original Dog Pack video has 10 million views. My videos combined have like, I don't know, 10, 12 million views as well. It is one of the biggest dramas on YouTube. It is pretty much obvious that MrBeast's latest video will get disliked. I do not support that. I do not encourage that, by the way. But it is likely that people will go out of the way to dislike these videos. So it is very unlikely there's a 99.1% ratio. But I also don't believe it has 1 million dislikes. In reality, I think the real number is somewhere in between those two numbers. You can form your own conclusions there. But very weird that YouTube is not showing an accurate picture of the dislikes there. I remember they removed the dislike button supposedly to protect smaller creators. At least that was their cited reason. But turns out it only ended up protecting larger creators and larger brands who ever get into some sort of controversy, right? And it also made it much harder to detect scam videos. Now, the creator of the Return YouTube Dislike extension has responded as well. By now, 87k users with an extension disliked the video and only 56k liked it. So we can see already he's saying 87k disliked it, yet on the studio, we don't see anything past 20k. Maybe it was at a different time, but very suspicious. A very good portion of these users were created a long time ago. If we want to believe that these dislikes are botted, someone would have to come up with this plan over a year ago, create tens of thousands of fake accounts, keep realistic looking activity on these accounts for a year, pretending to be real people, and only today would they attack MrBeast. So basically they're real. Regarding the figure in the screenshot, I simply do not see it possible for the video to be performing better than their channel average despite all the controversy. I completely agree. It could be that YouTube is not updating dislike counts in YouTube Studio for some reason. Some random reason, guys. Some random reason that all the comments are also getting deleted, like just getting wiped off the face of the earth. There is no war in Ba Sing Se, guys. There's just nothing going on at all. MrBeast is squeaky clean, of course. And inaccuracy is definitely possible due to how controversial this video is. After all, the extension serves 20 million people on a budget of 500, can never be as accurate as Google. I can imagine the estimate being wrong by 2 to 3 times, simply because how different an average member of MrBeast audiences from an average dislike extension user, but the numbers from the screenshot are simply impossible. Exactly only 4,000 or 20,000 dislikes is just unheard of. I don't know what Chucky is trying to prove here. He obviously knows that's wrong as well. Now we gotta talk about the reports from several people that MrBeast is deleting comments from his video. MrBeast team is actively deleting all the comments from his latest video that talk about him being exposed, and he's attached 2 videos here. I'm about 99% sure this is a YouTube bug. Jimmy isn't giving people full access to the number one YouTube channel just to delete comments. This is incredibly naive. He's managed by an agency. They're doing it. Obviously, this is happening. We can see it in real time. Now, they can claim that YouTube is auto-deleting any negative comments towards MrBeast, but that would make no sense. They've clearly banned certain phrases from the comment section, such as maybe dog pack or MrBeast drama or something like that, where people literally have to change languages to type their comments in because that way it doesn't get flagged or something. Here are some comments from MrBeast's latest video. It appears people are trying to get past the filters. Stop deleting comments, this is staged, and basically they don't put any space bar because somehow that gets caught in the filter and gets deleted. Remember back then when it wasn't all about the money? We all miss old MrBeast. I miss the old days of MrBeast. Are you being paid to delete these comments? And it's very weird because none of these have replies. So I don't know if these are bots or actual real people whose replies are getting deleted. It's just really confusing to me because nobody is being transparent. YouTube's not transparent. Jimmy's not transparent. So I don't really know what's happening here. Mr. Deleting comments, okay? Jimmy probably put a filter on comments. Nobody put spaces so he can't delete your comments. So you can see that a lot of people are essentially commenting. In fact, the amount of likes on these negative comments is already outweighing the supposed dislikes. So that already tells me that this video has been disliked way more than Chucky from the MrBeast team actually shared. So I don't know, take that as you will. Now, this is obviously a very bad look in my opinion when you try to silence any criticism by deleting comments, sending cease and desist, sending a random Chucky employee to respond to the allegations for you, especially a guy like Chucky, when we know you're watching in the back and have responded to the Ava Chris Tyson situation. Apparently, that situation got big enough that you're talking about it, but this situation, which is even bigger and involves you directly, that you can't talk about. Now, pretty much anyone with a brain could tell that that video had a way worse dislike ratio than 99%. For reference, any video I upload regarding any random topic rarely even hits 99%, even the most uncontroversial video. Most videos will hover between 95 to 98%. That's just how it is for nearly every YouTuber. It would have to completely flop to hit 99% like ratio because that means it only went to your sub box and all your fans are just liking the video, right? So if it gets even a little bit of traction anywhere in the recommended feed, it will drop below 99%. So obviously some manipulation was going on there regarding the numbers. Now, I also love how they were pretending that they had no bad comments at all, when later on, YouTuber Upper Echelon, with the help of a friend, literally catches them deleting thousands and thousands of comments, something that obviously equates to dislikes as well. Now, after this, Dogpeck released his second video where we are introduced to even more MrBeast allegations, where he allegedly hired a registered offender on a kids show with a victim aged 11 and allegedly tortured a contestant named Jake Weddle for a video. So the ex-employee who exposed MrBeast, Dogpack, has finally released his part 2 video titled, "I worked for MrBeast, he's a sociopath." And this video goes over some very serious allegations by a former contestant named Jake Weddle. So some of the things being alleged are Jake Weddle was borderline tortured in a MrBeast challenge called 100 Days in Solitary Confinement. Apparently, he was not even allowed to see sunlight and had bright studio lights on him and cameras 24/7 so that he couldn't sleep, which may potentially fall under sleep deprivation, which is a form of serious torture. Apparently, there was an incredible amount of pressure to stay and complete the challenge as well, even when he was falling apart, so to speak. Another allegation is that MrBeast had a convicted SA offender with a child victim on the MrBeast team and on camera in one of the videos as well, which is absolutely insane for a channel whose viewer base is full of kids.
I'm Jake Weddle. If you know me from MrBeast, I'm a deep cut. I'm in a few of the videos, sometimes maybe purposefully kept to the shadows a little bit. I'm in the cutting room floor a lot of the time. Pitch is 100 days in solitary confinement, but don't worry, like you only have to last like 30, we have like a video. They're pitching it like at first it's gonna be like a luxury vacation. You're gonna have like a hot tub and an ice cream machine, and like part of the video is gonna be you deciding like what items am I gonna get rid of, today, and it's like the choice. They were like, it's only gonna be bad for you to last like 5 days tops when you have like nothing left. You're the first. It's gonna be like a breeze for most of it, and by the end of it, after 30 days, you're gonna get $300,000 because it's $10,000 a day.
Okay, so apparently it was pitched as a sort of vacation, a really easy challenge where you can earn $300K, where you'll have a hot tub and an ice cream machine. But then he goes on to explain the alleged absolutely horrid conditions on the set, saying that it smelled really bad and he didn't even get to sleep and was suffering from insomnia even after the challenge.
And they had just freshly painted the set. You could smell it, which that's probably not good, the smell of fresh paint in your surroundings for the next XYZ time. A hot tub that's not connected to a filtration system. Give it 3 days, it's gonna stink. And the ice cream machine, let's talk about that for a second. The ice cream machine has 2 modes. On, and off, reeking of smelly dairy, mildew, Like, so I got to choose which sense was assaulted at a time. I couldn't have all of them good. They weren't turning the lights off. You know, I asked them, I said, can we like have like nighttime hours? You know? And they said no, because it would fuck up the time-lapse shots. The time-lapse of what? Me sleeping? Or me not sleeping? Okay, I got no access to sun. I got no access to clock. I don't know, like, the lights are on me all the time. I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep. And I have insomnia problems now. But they might have started there. And I go up to my friend, my good friend. And I go, they're not turning the lights off. He goes, what? That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists. Oh, good. 24 hours breaking the Geneva Convention, I guess, is what we're doing. He said, Jimmy said, can you say to the camera how thankful you are that now you can pay back your student loans?
That is absolutely awful to hear. So he's claiming that they allegedly almost tortured him and then asked him to basically thank the cameras for it. Now, I don't know if it actually qualifies as like a war crime because that seems a bit much, but regardless, it is a horrible thing to do to someone, especially from supposedly the kind-hearted god angel that is supposed to be MrBeast, right?
Hope you're doing well, man. That video you uploaded is money. So good. I appreciate. I'm doing better physically. Mentally, I'm still kind of in a place. I still can't sleep. I've slept 5 hours in the past 3 days, marathon included. I don't know what's wrong with me. Lots of thinking, too much, one might say. Hope they're taking care of you where they can. I mean, I was kind of shocked they didn't pay me for the full 25, 30 days. They paid me what I made up to that point. Like, even when we have to pull the plug for my mental health, the mechanism of the game is still at play. I'm just happy to be out. I still can't walk well, but it hurts less. Off-camera breaks, lights off at night, visitation, take the marathon out. Marathon is a video in itself. You can't expect someone to exert themselves like that for 45 seconds of content. The challenges really made it feel dehumanizing. Felt like a parody of MrBeast. I felt like the homeless guy they could exploit.
Okay, so MrBeast defenders are obviously going to be like, suck it up, you signed up for it, oh, you want to win 300K without it even being hard. Well, you know, that's one way to look at it, but also, is it really necessary to not turn the lights off at night? I mean, that part is cut out of the video, so why would that be needed? I mean, why make a guy who hasn't run a marathon till he allegedly has like blisters and stuff like that and his feet are hurting so bad? Is this kind of hurting him for entertainment?
He goes, you're gonna run a marathon. You're gonna do 22.6K, whatever it is. And you're gonna do it on that treadmill over there. People who run marathons train forever, and it's still hard.
Did you try to say no? Like, did you have a choice, or?
There was so much pressure to just do it, just do the thing, you know? And if I refuse, it's just, well, that's the whole video. I guess the budget's, so much money up in flames because Jake said he wouldn't want to do the thing. All right, I got off the treadmill. Oh, the blisters I had on my feet were like, you wouldn't believe, just all over, just these big red. I couldn't walk. My muscles were like just the lactic acid. I got off the treadmill, and then the people that came in to like ice my feet, make sure I was good. Then that's when I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm out. I'm out.
I don't know. In my opinion, there's just better ways to do it. I don't even mind if you just tell everybody, hey guys, I'm being open and honest. I'm faking the videos. I'm making it a TV show. I'm going to be turning off the lights at night and giving him a break, right? But instead, he has this weird obsession with insisting that everything is 100% real and authentic. And that ends up hurting people, it seems like.
He could have said no. He could have left at any time. I want to show this segment from an internal document at MrBeast called How to Succeed in MrBeast Production. Specifically on page 19, there's a paragraph called No Does Not Mean No. Already insane, because it seems to be co-opting the popular anti-rape slogan, which is a terrible look given the allegations that are going to be coming out very soon. It reads,
when dealing with people outside MrBeast Productions, never take a no at face value. If you need a store to buy everything inside of and you call the local Dollar Tree and the person that answers says, no, you can't film here, that doesn't mean shit. Talk to other employees and see if there are fans or if any have kids that are fans. Try talking to their boss's boss. Have me DM them on Twitter. Try their social team. If after all avenues are exhausted, you're still left with a no, that doesn't mean don't try the other Dollar Trees because the manager of those could be huge fans and willing to bend the rules. Basically what I'm trying to convey is what we call pushing through no. Don't just stop because one person told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. This is one of the tools that, when combined, dramatically improve your probability of success when producing here. All right, so it's basically saying keep trying trying to make the thing happen and don't take no for an answer, which is okay, except the phrase is a very weird choice and probably made a lot of women uncomfortable, but all right. Now, Dogpack also claims that this sort of mentality might lead to some shady business behind the scenes. For example, if an employee is pressured to make something happen, or, you know, they might lose their career for it, then they might be incentivized to tell half-truths or lie about small details to get certain things to happen that would normally not happen. Okay, so that was Jake Weddle's testimony regarding the situation. You can see he was crying in the video. He really seemed traumatized, and people were asking at the time, was this true, or was Jake just mad that he didn't win the challenge money? Well, turns out later on, we actually had a resolution. MrBeast actually came out and apologized to Jake Weddle and offered to pay him the remaining $200,000 of the challenge, which may potentially be considered an admission of guilt or wrongdoing by some people, because you don't really pay $300K to someone if you didn't really do anything wrong. And MrBeast actually does say sorry to Jake Weddle for putting him through that situation. Here's a clip.
He said, hey, I wanted to reach out and say I didn't mean to cause you mental stress with that video, and I apologize. Clearly it had an effect on you. You mentioned you'd like to be paid out the rest of the prize money, the other $190,000. And I'd love to make things right with you. I have zero expectation of you mentioning me sending you this money publicly or taking down any videos. This is just me wanting to help you out and make sure you're good. I just need to know if you still have the same bank or not. We'll send you the money on Monday. Wish you the best. You know, there was no lawyers around. It wasn't a spectacle. There was no camera in my face. I respected that. That's how I would have wanted it to go down. But I couldn't take it. I couldn't take 100. And I just couldn't take it. Because it's still a mechanism of the game. It's still like the rest of the prize money, and that's not what it was about. Would you like $190,000? Oh, that's the thing. I know. I don't want you to think that you got to take any videos down. I don't want you to think you're. Okay, you don't have to post anything because I don't want it to look like I'm buying you out or you're being silent. I want you to keep doing what you're doing. This is just for you to make things right. I respect that. I appreciate that. But you know how it looks. You know, for you to give me this cash that I desperately need, right? You know, I want my audience to trust me here. You know, I want to remain credible. Yeah, totally. So I can. You don't even like post about it. Don't worry about it. Just take this cash. I just don't counter offer 50. You save $140,000. You just give me 50.
Okay, it's good that MrBeast is trying to make things right. Now, some would say it's a PR move and he knew that Jake would talk about it. But regardless, that is the least he could do, is to compensate Jake and issue an apology. As for Jake, he accepted only $50K of that money and he denied the rest, claiming that he wants to make his own money from now on. Okay, so we did actually get justice for Jake Weddle there, but of course his trauma wasn't erased or anything, but at least some sort of acknowledgement from MrBeast and some compensation can make things a little sweeter there. But the thing is, with his apology and payment, Jimmy was essentially giving credibility to the allegation of actual torture, which is just horrible for MrBeast and his PR team. Now, it turns out it didn't stop there. Jake Weddle actually made a second allegation, which is the presence of a registered offender in MrBeast's videos. And MrBeast had apparently just half-heartedly put a mask on him to avoid showing his identity, but obviously now we know.
Well, there was a known offender, registered offender, convicted offender on the registry and everything, who worked there. From what I hear, I can't confirm or deny, from what I hear, he's on the registry for doing some not great stuff to some underage people. And they knew that. And he's working at a channel that has underage people on and around and is targeted to underage people. And they covered up the fact that not only did he work there, but he was like the manager when it all started.
Wow, that is absolutely horrific if that is true. Getting those vibes of, I don't know, Dan Schneider, Nickelodeon, all of that weird stuff. I mean, how did this possibly ever happen? Nobody who has done that type of stuff to a child should ever, ever, ever be allowed anywhere near kids or to even work on a channel that has so many kid viewers. It is just completely unacceptable. Now, it gets really bad when we allegedly have video footage of the guy in a MrBeast video.
He'll be in videos. He'll be in thumbnails. He'll be around. And whenever he is, he's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing? That you are a registered offender? And that your face could be looked up on a thing? how much more can you literally cover up a sex offender? He's like, why do you call him Delaware? I didn't know. Apparently they called him Delaware because he's not allowed to go back to Delaware.
I mean, what is going on? Why is a guy like that just randomly in your videos with a mask on? I mean, allegedly they call this guy Delaware because he's banned from Delaware for his disgusting crimes. I mean, that's insane. Why are people joking about that? I mean, I'm hoping there's some other story to that nickname because that sounds really bad. And it actually gets a million times worse because a very concerning clip of MrBeast allegedly referring to this man by his disturbing nickname Delaware is in a video. Credit to Upper Echelon for his video here.
During the I spent 24 hours straight in insane asylum video, in which MrBeast did not spend 24 hours in any such thing himself, Zorro is a main contestant. However, at 9 minutes and 12 seconds, MrBeast himself states, "Don't touch Delaware's cracker," during one of the joking meals that they were given.
He's after my hungry.
Don't touch Delaware's cracker. Don't touch Delaware's cracker.
That simple, innocuous slip presents a very big problem. If Jake Weddle's testimony is accurate, which I believe it is, having compared the height of Delaware, or Zorro, to that of Chandler, as well as eye color, hair color, weight, facial features, etc., it all checks out. If Jake Weddle's testimony is accurate, it means that not only was there a convicted offender working at MrBeast, convicted of explicit acts with a victim under the age of 11, by the way, but his nickname was the state in which those crimes occurred, which MrBeast himself openly used.
I mean, if this is all true, this is some really sick stuff. Why are they joking about that name if that is the story behind it? Why is that man allowed on set when he has a criminal record for one of the most heinous crimes? I mean, in my opinion, if you're going after minors, that is just absolute bottom of the barrel, absolutely horrid stuff. And this has got to be by far the worst allegation yet. Allegedly, they're trying to expunge his record too to cover it up.
Also, apparently before this phone conversation got recorded, the person on the other end of the line said that the MrBeast team was actually trying to expunge Delaware's record off the registry. Everyone at your company knows, but somehow you don't know. I think that needs more of an explanation than just saying, I didn't know. Well, how didn't you know? How did this person get into the company and you know, a company that makes content for children and is around children? So yeah, Jimmy, I think we need an explanation from you.
Honestly, it is your responsibility as the leader to make sure nothing like this is happening at your company. I mean, I get it's big, I get there's a lot going on, but this is ridiculous. Now, obviously, that was one of the worst things discovered in the whole MrBeast saga. This is someone who had a victim of the age of 11 who was a star in a MrBeast video, one that is watched by millions of kids, and a lot of these kids become a fan of the actors or the characters on screen, whether they be a fan of Chris or Chandler or anybody who's in these videos, right? Since then, Jake the Viking confirmed in a tweet that Delaware is indeed his brother-in-law and a registered offender and was part of the MrBeast video, and claims that Jimmy and his mom also knew about this and allowed it to happen. Now, if you thought that that was the only criminal that Jimmy was associated with, Rosanna Pansino tweeted out, "I've received confirmation from 5 verified contestants that for the first round of Beast Games, a man named Armani was allowed to compete. He was previously charged with at least 20 counts for battery, kidnapping, pandering or pimping, and robbery. He pled guilty to the charge, acknowledging the significant evidence against him. He allegedly also slept near female contestants before being kicked off set for inappropriate behavior. Some of the female contestants confirmed being very uncomfortable around him. He's also friends with Jake Paul and other influencers. Why was there not adequate background checks to catch people like this?" And there's a picture of Armani. Yikes, I don't think they took time for background checks. Good lord, my god, MrBeast, what else are you hiding? Now, obviously, this is really concerning if it is true, because you can't have criminals of this degree participating in your challenges, especially allowing them to sleep near female contestants when they might be uncomfortable. That is obviously a recipe for disaster, and Jimmy needs to conduct better background checks to avoid situations like this. Now, Rosanna follows up by saying he has changed his appearance since being in jail. Contestants said they believe he was in the green team in the group challenge. Multiple people have told me he allegedly received a lot of camera time and was to be part of the story. Here we got the alleged change in appearance. I mean, at this point, Jimmy has to respond to this. That is allegedly 2 criminals that we now know of. I mean, there's plenty of people who would take part in a MrBeast video gladly with great personalities. I don't know why they feel the need to scoop the bottom of the barrel with contestants and settle for actual criminals. That is just insane to me. So it seems that MrBeast had a pattern of associating with extremely shady people, including criminals who have done some absolutely horrible things, and he hasn't actually stopped that trend because he recently collabed with KSI and Logan, both allegedly scammers, and that's just not a good look when you're in this much heat. Now, we also had a few updates regarding the MrBeast team's massive cover-up attempt. The Beast team is going back several years in the past and quietly editing out portions of videos, deleting over 20,000 comments, purging entire sections of their videos and comment sections in an attempt to hide anything that could be considered shady, considered illegal, considered controversial. Once again, shout out to Upper Echelon for his video here.
But what he did do is launch another video. This one, the newest one, is about surviving 100 days in a nuclear bunker. This right here is the 36-hour period of time where the comment section of that latest video was scraped repeatedly and archived. Green is the total number of comments posted. Red is the total number of comments allowed to remain on the video actively. Over that one single 36-hour period from August 4th to midway through August 5th, over 26,000 comments were deleted at a consistent rate, as well as in 2 very large major batches. Here's a complete list of the comments, by the way, where you can see things like this, showcasing that all at once, for various keywords and phrases, dozens or even hundreds of comments will disappear in close proximity to each other. For example, comments simply containing the word script were suddenly mass deleted. Comments containing the word fake were mass deleted as well. This right here is a video from 6 years ago where MrBeast decided to tip delivery guys $10,000. But if you scroll down, there's a jump in the most recent comments from 10 days ago to 1 month ago. All comments from the entire month of July were purged from this video. Damn, the Shadman poster is actually there, end quote. MrBeast went back to a video from 6 years ago. He deleted an entire month of comments, as well as stealth edited a portion of the video out to hide things. Here's a complete list of the edits made to the MrBeast videos over the past couple of months for anyone curious to go look for themselves. This is all the stuff they're trying to hide on a plate for you. That channel, once again, shout out to Hoboon, who is an absolute fiend when it comes to archiving data. As of August 1st, that channel pulled down 4 unlisted videos. These 4, we have them right here. One of them is a fragment of the live stream where the alleged illegal lotteries took place. This one starts right from the beginning with a stone-cold statement by Jimmy that he will be signing the t-shirts, but he'll try to convince his team to sign them as well. They removed a roughly 30-second section where Jimmy says to the camera, "Probably shouldn't break the law because being in jail sucks." And then a part where he asks Chris Tyson, if you were to ever go to jail, what would it be for? Which is an odd thing to go back and edit 6 years later.
Okay, so that is a lot of things to delete seemingly out of nowhere. Clearly, there's some sort of panic going on at the MrBeast headquarters. I mean, Chucky, the MrBeast employee, recently sent a screenshot to Drama Alert that his nuclear bunker video had a 99% like ratio, basically saying there was no negative comments or dislikes at all. And here you are, deleting 20,000 comments. That's more comments than my latest several videos combined, so that's a lot of people, and you're censoring potentially hundreds of thousands of people from their voice being heard. So obviously that's not adding up, and the reasonable conclusion is that there were more dislikes than initially reported, and now you're trying to hide certain videos. I don't even know what other shit is there now, because you're deleting everything. It is absolutely insane, and as Upper Echelon points out, it could be a cover-up. Now, it turns out we spotted a couple of things that were deleted there, right? And they were in relation to Chris Tyson and the Shadman drawings on the wall and potentially other controversial videos. But a lot of the other videos were seemingly deleted for no apparent reason. By that I mean, we just don't know the reason. Clearly they had something to hide, which is why they went all the way back, those several years back, and went and deleted these videos. But maybe we'll never actually know the reason for their deletion or what sort of controversy they were trying to hide. Now maybe in the future some internet detectives go through the deleted videos and somehow find something, I don't know, but as of now, we don't know. Anyways, moving on to another allegation. This one is regarding Feastables, where MrBeast removed the child labor-free and slave labor-free labels from his Feastables website, obviously implying something sinister. YouTuber Honesty made yet another allegation against MrBeast, saying he's potentially using child labor or slave labor for his chocolate, which is incredibly concerning.
Everything in this video is alleged, and the conclusions are my own opinion. Like many other industries, chocolate is notorious for its exploitation of children using child labor and slave labor. They use child labor, forced labor, unsafe conditions to farm these cacao beans that eventually makes its way to become chocolates at your table. With that being said, I'm gonna try to prove my first point, that MrBeast is using child labor and slave labor for his chocolates today and has been since late 2023. When Feastables first launched in January of 2022, if you went into their FAQ, their frequently asked questions section, they proudly displayed that they were child labor free and slave labor free. As a matter of fact, in April of 2023, they doubled down and they added to their list of main menu options this option that said we're slave free. And if you clicked it, it had an entire dedicated page talking about how they were free of slave labor and child labor. But just a few months later, in October of 2023, that main page item that said we're slave free, that was removed. In addition, in the frequently asked questions section, that stuff about being child labor free and slave labor free, that stuff also disappeared. Later in May of 2024, and even to this day, there's no mention whatsoever at all about any kind of ethical sourcing of ingredients. If you're thinking, oh, it's a mistake, or maybe they forgot, I think the chances of this being true are less than 0.001%. You see, MrBeast prides himself on hiring the best of the best, and there is no way marketers would forget to put this kind of information on their website because it would boost their brand favorability in the eyes of consumers. It's likely then that MrBeast is now using child labor and forced labor for Feastables chocolates. This is especially bad because it means that MrBeast and the Feastables team were very aware that child labor and forced labor slavery exists in the chocolate industry, and yet decided to take advantage of the most weak and the vulnerable among us for personal gain. This is a bad look for any company, but it's worse for MrBeast because he puts on these large public displays of being a philanthropist and a role model to young children.
Okay, if all that is true, that is absolutely sickening. I don't know how it keeps getting worse. I know there's a meme that there's no good billionaires and stuff, but I'm starting to understand what it actually takes to get uber rich. Somewhere down the line, it seems something sinister happens where you might potentially have to sacrifice morals for more money. And yeah, based on what he said, that is some extremely shady behavior. Removing labels like that is extremely concerning because then you're allowing people to speculate like this and they're gonna assume the worst intentions. Now, Honestly goes on to say that in his opinion, MrBeast actually knew about this and planned it this way, which is another insane allegation.
I think MrBeast knew the entire time, since the beginning of Feastables, that he was going to use child labor and slave labor for his chocolates, but he tried to trick us into thinking otherwise. To try and prove my point, I'm gonna first talk about the Feastables packaging, and then I'm gonna talk about the kosher and halal certifications. When MrBeast first launched Feastables, it was in line with his brand. They were clearly trying to do things ethically. They actually got a certification from the Rainforest Alliance. Once you're certified, you're able to use their logo, which is a little frog, on all of your products, your website, on all of that stuff. When I saw the packaging for Feastables, both old and new, there was no Rainforest Alliance certified logo anywhere. If one day that package has a frog logo on it and the next day it disappears, people will notice. So instead, they decide to only put it on their website because at the end of the day, who the hell reads a website except for weirdos like me? By doing it this way, I think they tried to fool everyone into thinking that their chocolate is still child labor free and slave labor free.
Okay, listen, I'm not gonna speculate on MrBeast's intentions because I don't know what is going on in his head, obviously. But the facts that he presented of removing those labels and refusing to put that little logo on the chocolate bar, that is some concerning stuff. Now, this allegation was something nobody expected, but removing labels like child labor free and slave labor free is just going to bring up a ton of questions. Are you not legally allowed to put it there anymore because of certain reasons? Or is the chocolate no longer ethically sourced? A lot of people want some answers regarding this because they assume that Feastables was ethically sourced and healthy as well, both of which have seemingly changed according to their own website. But as with everything else, MrBeast has stayed radio silent regarding any allegation that is actually serious, except Chris Tyson, but even that was barely acknowledged and just sort of touched with the 10 feet pole with the PR response. But anyways, the story continues. We had another viral video with an individual named Ty Orr calling out MrBeast for seemingly stealing his ideas. Now moving on to a guy called Ty Orr. This guy made 2 videos on MrBeast calling him a thief and a liar. Basically, this is someone who is trying to be on MrBeast's idea team. He claims that MrBeast stole his idea and did not pay him for it. Now the idea in question is the sort of floating platforms for a challenge video, and then he got a bunch of obstacles similar to the game Fall Guys. Now, is it a unique idea? Personally, I think it's plausible that someone from the MrBeast team also came up with that, and it's also plausible that they didn't and they actually did steal Ty's idea. Now, MrBeast team responded with a message showing that they already had a similar idea, so take that as you will. Now, I feel like if you have someone apply for a job and go physically to your location and do some work, I feel like you should compensate them just a little, even if they didn't actually get the job or do a good job. But the problem is Ty Orr's intentions are in question now, because initially when he uploaded the video, he linked a GoFundMe for $1.7 million. He has since taken it down after severe backlash and apologized in a comment refunding the money. Last I checked, despite getting 2.5 million views, he only got like 20 donors and about $400. Maybe more, I don't know, but this is not a noble move. This is the bare minimum after pulling a stunt like that. There is no reason the public needs to pay you 1.7 million for an idea. That is ridiculous. Even if MrBeast wants to compensate you, an idea like that, which is literally just Fall Guys the game, let's be honest, is worth maybe $1,000, maximum like super generous $50,000 for that idea. And you should ask that compensation from MrBeast, not the general public who is already struggling to get by. Now, in his second video, he alleges that MrBeast just gets free labor from people by asking them to apply for a non-existent job, which again, I can't confirm, but he says he won't apologize for the GoFundMe anymore, but he already said sorry in a comment. I don't know. I feel for him if it's true, but I can't excuse clown behavior, all right? Now, regarding Ty Orr, it was one of the less serious allegations. Of course, exploiting someone's work is bad, but it's not nearly as bad as hiring registered offenders or some of the more serious stuff. Moreover, this was just spoken word, and the idea that was copied was pretty much just Fall Guys the game, which is plausible that anyone could come up with. And of course, the GoFundMe that Ty Orr attached at the end of his video for $1.7 million was absolutely ridiculous and definitely affected public opinion. Now, after that, we had a short segment where MrBeast's girlfriend and ex actually spoke out about the situation, but it wasn't really in depth or anything. Now, moving on to MrBeast's girlfriend, half the things that are said are not true. I wouldn't be with him if they were. MrBeast's girlfriend defends a YouTuber following the recent allegations. Now, people are memeing this response saying, wait, what does she mean by half? Half, and we got Walter White with a cell phone. Only half, the smile of an empty vessel. All right, so basically it's too vague to actually say anything. His ex-girlfriend came out too, saying that she's been silent for years and vaguely saying that we need to protect women from people like that. She doesn't actually mention Jimmy's name, but take that as you will. Basically, as you'd expect, his current girlfriend defends him and his ex-girlfriend is lambasting him. Nothing really surprising over there. But then we get to yet another bombshell, the third dog pack video, with MrBeast's secret CEO, James Warren, and COO, Lacoya Hill. So some of the important points in the video include allegations against James Warren, who is MrBeast's CEO and cousin, accused of DV, alleged incident between him and a female colleague, which led to her leaving the company. Then we got allegations against James Warren's friend, Lacoya Hill, who is a former COO at MrBeast, and allegedly used to run an adult entertainment company. And obviously it's weird because it's like hiring a P-star for a kids show. He was allegedly accused of SA and then got quote-unquote fired, but not really, because he just got moved to another position to supposedly avoid the controversy. And then later on, he got rehired for another job instead of actually getting rid of the person with the alleged SA, which looks very bad. Considering the previous allegation of keeping a registered offender as a contestant in a MrBeast video and having a criminal in the Beast games as well, this is all starting to look really bad. And then we got the final allegations against MrBeast himself for allegedly fostering a toxic work culture, sexist environment, attempts to cover up multiple essays, deleting evidence from YouTube and various social media regarding the ongoing investigation, and mistreatment of women in general. Now, these allegations were sort of all over the place. Some of them seem believable, while others seem entirely false. The following is the James Warren DV the allegations, and right after I will show you Dogpack's update tweet where he essentially says he was wrong about the DV case of James Warren. He doesn't really speak to the other allegations of James Warren.
After I called out James Warren by name in my last video, his Instagram and Facebook got taken down, and his LinkedIn got taken down. He's Jimmy's cousin and secret CEO, and I say secret because, you know, they're not very open about that fact. Like, he doesn't post about it on social media. It wasn't ever attached to his LinkedIn. He's never featured or really referenced anywhere. I heard that he's very aggressive. I've heard him referred to as a psychopath who screams at people and hits his girlfriends. There's allegedly domestic violence charges that were filed against him. James Warren, also allegedly an ex-drug addict. I've heard that he offered cocaine and hookers to editors to stay late.
He basically put out this tweet where he said that the allegations he made against James Warren, the Secret Beast CEO, for DV particularly, were likely not true, which undermines a lot of his credibility. Obviously sucks to hear, but I gotta be fair. I gotta call out BS when I see it. So that was definitely a huge L for Dogpack. But it seems that a lot of the other allegations were credible, considering we did get resolutions from the Jake Weddle thing. The Lacoya Hill allegation has been sort of corroborated by the Trey guy as well. And then we had the Ponzi scheme allegation, which has not been retracted as of now, and seemingly has a court document tied to it as well, which will give it more credibility.
But what's not allegedly is that James Warren is the former COO of acquisitions of a real estate investment firm called Greenstone Ventures LLC, which is one of the businesses listed in this indictment of his former business partner, Joshua Hutchins, who was sentenced to 10 years in prison for running a real estate Ponzi scheme.
Ponzi schemes are great up until they just go bust.
So before working at MrBeast, James Warren was involved in a literal fraud. In fact, he's actually mentioned in the court transcripts of this case. I'm going to highlight testimony from just one of these victims, a retirement age woman named Sylvia.
Okay, so apparently James heavily endorsed this guy named Joshua Hutchins as a trustworthy guy. You know, give him all of your money, he'll totally take care of it. But turns out the guy was not trustworthy and is now in prison for 10 years. And yeah, they basically seemingly ruined this woman's life. And here's her testimony from some documents.
She explains that the reason she trusted Mr. Hutchins was through the strong recommendation and endorsement from that very reputable and successful real estate agent. My trust was and has been severely violated. This is the equivalent of financial rape. Many of us entrusted Mr. Hutchins, who we've come to know to be fraudulent. Just $1.3+ million of worthless paper signed by him fraudulently misrepresented in the courts. So Hutchins was convicted for soliciting investment monies by telling victims that their money would be put to work on a specific property. In fact, Hutchins did not put all the investor funds to work on the property on which the investor was solicited to invest, and instead regularly used investor funds on other properties or personal expenses. Again, according to Sylvia's testimony, James Warren represented Mr. Hutchins as highly competent and capable.
Wow. Okay, that is obviously horrible for the woman whose life was pretty much ruined here. She describes it as a financial R word there, which is absolutely horrible.
The impact, over $1.3 million in real losses. These are not, I got a piece of property, it was all fraud. She goes on to describe her financial troubles through the years, supporting her mother who had Alzheimer's disease, how in the crash of 2008 she lost her job and for 2 years was unemployed. In 2014 she had a severe cancer diagnosis, was out of work for over a year. She continues, in spite of all that, I've lived very frugally and tried to make things work. I've made him know of all my history and I told him I could not take the risk. He and James Warren, the then realtor, stated, "Oh, real estate." She goes on to describe how they presented it as a safe investment opportunity for her, and then James Warren's business partner defrauded her of $1.3 million. Now, can I claim definitively that James Warren was aware of the fraud that was taking place and willingly complicit in helping Mr. Hutchins defraud old ladies? No.
All right, so that was the James Warren allegations, but then we move on to Lacoya Hill, the alleged COO, and his case is far worse, it seems.
But by 2017, Lacoya Hill was running an adult entertainment event business in San Francisco called Lacoya Hill Entertainment. Then in 2019, he was hired to MrBeast as a producer. However, I question what qualified the sort of go-go dance drag daddy of San Francisco for a job producing YouTube content for children. You know, it'd also be weird if MrBeast hired Johnny Sins as the janitor, I guess.
Okay, already looking very weird, all right? Probably shouldn't have a person who ran an adult entertainment business on the MrBeast team, especially appearing in a video. It really seems like there's a lack of background checks, or I don't know, maybe a complete disregard for the background of these people, even after knowing, because I mean, there is no way they didn't know, because I mean, a COO is a pretty high up position, let's be honest. And it's starting to look real bad. We had Delaware, you know, convicted offender in these videos. We had Armani, a convicted criminal allegedly participating in the Beast games. And now you have the CEO and COO, both accused of extremely bad things. And these are like some of the highest positions possible.
It's not the real issue, though. The issue is that in late 2021, he was allegedly fired for sexually assaulting his assistant. Now, I put fired in quotation marks because he was actually quietly moved to the dubbing company, which was Unilingo at the time. Here is proof that he used the Lacoya at unilingo.tv email, which also, after my first video, his YouTube channel mysteriously got deleted. And at some point, his Twitter also got deleted. I don't know if that's when he actually assaulted his assistant. I don't know if that's after my first video got posted. Either way, Booty Call Wednesdays are canceled. He was actually brought back to MrBeast in 2023 after sexually assaulting his assistant prior, and promoted to Chief Financial Officer, which is how I personally was introduced to him. Here's some evidence from the internal Slack channel at MrBeast showing Lacoya Hill acting in some COO capacity, saying there's news reporters outside, do not engage with them. This was shortly after the Time magazine article came out. So here I have a document showing testimony from former MrBeast employees talking about Lacoya Hill.
Oh my God. Okay, so there's essaying an assistant and then getting quote unquote fired, but then not really, just getting moved to another job, right? And then deleting the social media and then bringing this Lacoya person back after he allegedly essayed an assistant is just crazy. This is by far one of the worst allegations so far. I know I say that every video, but come on, dude. Why can't they actually just let these people go? If someone is a criminal or someone is a horrible person doing criminal things like SA, why can't we just get someone else? Why must we move them around, bring them back, knowing what happened? It is just absolutely insane to me. It's like they quote unquote don't want to lose this talent and will do anything to protect them. At this point, Jimmy has like 500 things to respond to, and each couple of weeks it seems to get worse than the last time. Now here we got a series of testimonies from MrBeast employees regarding Lacoya. There are a bunch of messages. It's about 2 minutes long, so feel free to skip ahead here. It's a little long.
But here's the first testimony, and I'll say this person is especially credible in my opinion. I asked them, did you see or hear of any misconduct at the company? They say yes. Lacoya Hill, the current COO. In 2021, he had an assistant named victim's name. I heard Lacoya acted very inappropriately with victim, booking hotel rooms with only one bed, walking around in his underwear, having victim come to his house and showing him his toy collection. Just in general, Lacoya made victim uncomfortable. Victim started complaining to higher-ups and a report got written. Lacoya was put on paid leave for like a month. Then MrBeast moved him to the dubbing company, and he was hired back in 2023 and was promoted to COO, even though Jimmy, James, and Sue 100% know his history. Also, I heard that when victim was let go, he was given $30,000 in severance. I could get you victim's number. I don't know if he'd talk. I respond, yeah, that'd be great. Also, is there proof he moved to the dubbing company? I could look. It was the original dubbing company called Unilingo. MrBeast practically forced them to hire Lacoya, and then they poached Unilingo's employees and copied their whole business and created Creator Global. But they brought him back knowing he had sexually harassed an employee previously. And people often talk about Lacoya making them very uncomfortable on shoots. They respond, the old gay guy who likes to bang 18-year-old straight employees? Yeah, I've heard of him. Anything non-consensual to your knowledge? I heard he got in trouble for hooking up with his 18-year-old straight assistant, but the company kept it quiet from what I heard. He's a producer and worked in the adult entertainment before MrBeast. Do you know who Lacoya Hill is? Yes. And you're aware of the case that has been covered up for some time. Explain. Essayed multiple people, apparently roofied multiple people as well. Okay, few things. Lacoya assaulted his assistant who was straight and Lacoya was gay. You probably already know that, but James is best friends with him, so holy shit was that surprising that they kept him around way longer than they should have. There were reports of him making the assistant sleep in the same room/bed with him on trips, touching him inappropriately, and dangling his job in front of him.
Guys, what is going on? How are these allegations coming out about the family-friendly, amazing god-tier organization that is MrBeast here? And, you know, that's a lot of people corroborating the story, supposedly, who worked at MrBeast as well. Now, you can say that they're all fake messages, but in my opinion, it does look pretty sus to see these many messages and, you know, you can see the activity of, you know, them firing him or moving him from one place to another. Clearly something happened, which is why they moved him out of the company and gave him paid leave. Lacoya needs to be investigated if any of this is true. And MrBeast and his team keeping him around while allegedly having knowledge of this is absolutely insane.
Now recently, MrBeast has let Lacoya Hill go. They had this sort of leaked email where they say, therefore, along with Jeff Hausenbold, our new president and COO, right? Alluding to the fact that Lacoya Hill is no longer working there. Now, I have been open with MrBeast about the fact that I was going to cover Lacoya Hill. This is a single frame in my first video where I reference Lacoya. He's also in my Twitter header. And I've also just told people who work at MrBeast that they have to let Lacoya Hill go.
I don't know if it's a good idea to tell your plans to a potential billionaire evil mega company who's literally covering up everything, deleting videos, deleting social media, moving around questionable people. But I understand he's just trying to do the right thing here, and he's a regular guy up against billionaires, so obviously not every move is going to be perfect here. But as I said, apparently Lacoya may still be around there at MrBeast somewhere.
And then MrBeast launched Creator Global, where Lacoya Hill is currently listed as the current president at Creator Global. No work history between graduating UNC in May 2001 and becoming the president at Creator Global in 2024. Dude, this is like the 3-cup game where you gotta like keep track of the pets and as MrBeast just moves them between companies.
That is absolutely ridiculous if that's true. How important is this Lacoya guy that he literally cannot just be fired? Like, why does he have to be moved from one place to another, even after such concerning allegations against him? What is going on? We need answers here. Okay, so that was the Lacoya Hill allegations. Absolutely deplorable stuff. Allegedly fired for SA and then not really fired, just moved around. So very shady. Still awaiting any response from MrBeast here regarding that, and I will update you guys if that happens. And finally, in the third Dogpack Exposed video, we had allegations regarding MrBeast's work culture and alleged sexist environment. Now we gotta get to Jimmy himself, right? And the alleged toxic work culture and sexist environment he has allegedly created.
Okay, now let's move on to the man himself, Jimmy Donaldson. She says, on my very first day, I was told to avoid being alone in a room with certain people in positions of power. At least once a week, I was subjugated to inappropriate questions and conversations. Once, a male coworker asked me what I would do if Jimmy assaulted or harassed me. On another occasion, this same coworker said it wasn't fair that women could just decide a past sexual encounter wasn't consensual. Many of the men I worked with would make assault and pedophilia jokes on a daily basis. They would scream and hit walls when they got upset. The minute any woman leaves a room, they would talk about if/how they would f her. I've heard men comment on female contestants' bodies many times. Not everyone behaves this way, but no one openly speaks out against it in fear of losing their job. If you complain about any of this, you'll be shamed for being too sensitive or just ignored. You can't take anything to HR either because Jimmy's mom runs it. It's pretty common for people to essentially get paid to leave and stay quiet if they make enough noise about something. There is no employee handbook, by the way. If you ask for one or what the company's policies are, they just tell you to ask them and they'll let you know if anything is against the rules. But again, there's nothing in writing, which is true. The leaked document is just the production manual. Not given to all employees.
All right, so obviously, concerning allegation, now it is just a text, and, you know, we can't confirm if any of that is actually true, but, you know, you can make some educated guesses, judging from the general sort of demeanor of the Beast crew and the employees he seemingly keeps around, having registered offenders in videos and stuff. You know, very, very weird behavior there. Now, after this, Dawson talks about Jess, one of the potential victims of Chris Tyson's essay, and how MrBeast is apparently re-reviewing the internal investigations at his company because he may not like the results.
Here's another testimony. This person will go on the record. This is Jess, who accused Ava Chris Tyson of sexual assault. I think her case has been sort of mostly ignored because she wasn't a minor when it happened. But she was a MrBeast employee, and you can see in her evidence, in her communications with the company, the clear signs of a cover-up. You can see them like threatening her with legal action and emails and saying like, oh, we're going to have a law firm investigate this. Well, they had one firm do an internal investigation, McGuire Woods LLP, the same law firm that sent me my first cease and desist. But then they hired, I guess, Harvey Weinstein's legal team, allegedly, to re-review everything. So I guess they weren't happy with the results of the first internal investigation.
Okay, so obviously that's pretty stupid. There's no real point of an investigation if you just change the results if you don't like it and go for another investigation. That's why, in my opinion, it's pretty dumb to investigate yourself. It obviously needs to be done by someone who has zero business or personal relationship with you and needs to be objective. Now I know, oh wait, they hired a third-party company to investigate them, but I don't know how exactly impartial that actually is. But anyways, if you're still just moving around people like Lacoya and not actually firing him, it's just weird as heck, and people are going to speculate, right? And as Dawson says, you can actually make the findings of the investigation public, because that's pretty much the only way to clear your name regarding this particular situation. Now, my prediction is that that's probably not going to happen, because they probably found some real bad stuff, especially if they're investigating people like Lacoya or whatever. Now he talks a little more about the Jess allegations, who says apparently MrBeast, Jimmy himself, tried to cover up SA. That is the allegation, which is horrible if true.
I only hung out with Jimmy a handful of times, but he definitely was a little more reserved around me because I wasn't a part of his inner circle, or the boys club as it's called. I did hear Jimmy straight up say that the guy making a documentary on him right now has footage of him saying stuff that would absolutely get him canceled. It's just a well-known thing the boys club is misogynistic and looks down on women in the company despite what they might say publicly. Behind closed doors, the women in the company know that the culture is a problem. I have heard multiple stories of Jimmy being directly informed of SA happening at the company and proactively working to keep it quiet. So Jess directly implicating Jimmy in the SA cover-ups. Lacoya with an 18-year-old straight assistant, so she's one of the people corroborating that story. Ava told Jimmy about a time she was essayed by another talent member on a private jet, and talent members/employees making advances towards contestants was a regular occurrence. The reason all of this was able to happen for so long is because Jimmy is deeply misogynistic and only respects what he considers to be traditional women. He pushed those values into the company when he created it, and it resulted in several SA allegations we know about, and probably a lot more we don't know yet. Which I will say, a lot of the SA allegations are still not public.
Okay, so there she wasn't talking about James or Lacoya. This is straight up an allegation on MrBeast saying that he knew about SA and tried to cover it up, which is some bizarre Hollywood shit if that is true. But of course, we will have to wait and see if any of this is true, if MrBeast has a way to clear his name regarding all of this, or why he's pulling all these weird moves, moving people from one place to another when they're being accused of such heinous things. Anyways, we won't know the full truth until MrBeast finally responds, but we do have this last part where Dawson talks about MrBeast's ex-girlfriend Maddie and the generally sexist attitude of MrBeast. There's a little bit of a compilation of him saying a few sus things, but I'll give my thoughts on that.
So Maddie Spadell, who's MrBeast's very public ex-girlfriend of 2.5 years, she says she spent years being quiet, never acknowledging that time in her life. 19 to 21 are formative years, impacted how she saw herself and how she trusted men. Months of therapy. She says how he treats other women will ultimately be how he treats you. So how does Jimmy treat other women?
I don't really get along with women. I don't really get along with women. I don't really get along with women. Well, women are stupid because they're inferior to men.
That when she and a group of contestants who were menstruating during the event had asked the production staff about getting their underwear more quickly, she had been told that it was not a medical emergency.
You'll never actually respect a woman, but just act like you respect them.
My God. MrBeast withheld my birth control. I have ovarian cysts. You can't just stop taking birth control.
I don't really get along with women.
Also in this podcast, Jimmy goes on to talk about his relationship with his current girlfriend Tia in very weird ways, in my opinion.
For us now, like, an idea of a date is just to take an IQ test and then study and see if we can get a high.
It's all of our jobs to protect our friends, our moms, our wives, our sisters, our daughters, ourselves from people like that. That's a pretty clear statement, if you ask me.
Okay, so that was a lot to take in. Basically, it's trying to paint MrBeast as a little bit of a sexist there. Now, some people might say that, oh, all those clips, he's just kind of joking around. It's just boys will be boys humor, you know? He's just kidding. He is not actually serious. And those were all clips from different videos, you know, sort of successively edited together. Now, is he actually sexist? I don't freaking know. I don't hang around MrBeast. Could it be a sexist environment? It is a possibility, but you can just listen to all the testimonies of the employees and everyone around him and decide your opinion on that. With all these potential essays going on, criminals being involved, it is understandable why so many women are feeling unsafe. I feel like a lot of this needs to be addressed and cleared up at the very least. Now, the thing is, there could be credibility to these allegations, but you can't really say for sure. With so many people speaking out at the same time, it's hard to tell what's real and what's not. Not to mention, MrBeast is so big that nothing has really happened to his sub count or viewership at this stage, because again, we're all making videos in English, while 90% of MrBeast's audience can't even understand what we're saying here because he dubs in different languages. But his reputation, at least among English speakers, has definitely been severely damaged with all these things coming out and the mainstream attention regarding the situation. And it seems like it keeps going even as of making this video. The very recent drama was regarding MrBeast's collaboration with Logan Paul and KSI releasing a new product called Lunchly, and that, predictably, went horribly for their reputation. Only thing is, Lunchables allegedly made like $1.8 billion in sales last year, so they obviously wanted to hop on that gravy train of printing money. KSI and Logan also started Prime, a competitor to Gatorade, which also prints money. So they're just trying to hop onto any lucrative business and just slap their name logo on it and change a couple ingredients around and throw it as a new product. And they don't really care if their audience is adversely affected. MrBeast, KSI, and Logan Paul are releasing Lunchly, a Lunchables competitor. It will feature Prime, Feastables chocolate, and a variation of food. And then we got a bunch of promo pictures. Here we got the Lunchly, a bunch of Feastables bars. We got the turkey stackums, the Fiesta nachos, and the pizza. Here's what people are saying. This will definitely be less healthy than Lunchables. I wouldn't consume anything tied to Logan Paul. Wow, more subpar, cheaply made shit with YouTuber branding on it. You're gonna have to take out a loan to afford this. Here's a video of their announcement stream.
Perhaps you are familiar with this product.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Yeah. So if you look closely, this product has a candy, an entree, and a drink.
Wait. A drink?
A drink.
Some chocolate.
Yep, some chocolate.
And an entree.
And an entree.
Rizzler, what's your thoughts on it?
Show us what you think of this.
Oh! Wait, could you do the face too? Oh my gosh.
So
okay.
Perhaps you piece this together. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce you to Lunchly.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, sorry about the 140p quality. Apparently 3 borderline billionaires can't seem to afford a proper camera and connection for the stream. Basically, nobody is happy about this. Here's some more replies. Yay, pieces of shit using their fame to sell unhealthy and horrible products to children. Great. Reply to the allegations instead of making more businesses. Another scam product to mislead little kids into. These lawsuits are going to crush them. Okay, so can we just talk about how MrBeast was just accused of marketing his Feastables chocolate as healthy and then changing the formula to adding more sugar than his competitor chocolate, making it even more unhealthy. And then his response to the situation is to release Lunchly, probably the worst named thing on the planet, not gonna lie. And likely, you know, in my opinion, probably going to be ultra processed garbage that allegedly may possibly potentially cause bajillion issues for people who are addicted to junk food, especially kids who are suffering from the absolutely insane industry of fast food everywhere. Now, this Lunchly announcement was so bad that even Dan TDM called them out. And if you know anything about Dan, he's an OG YouTuber who does not speak on drama ever. He says, "What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. But how does this benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust the people who are selling it to them. Do better." And he got like 100k likes here. We got a bunch of other YouTubers saying, "My man, they probably taste absolutely awful too." Why not teach kids healthy eating habits? They're comparing their product to Lunchables, which in itself is highly processed crap. None of them are passionate about help towards fans, only their wallets. So disappointing. They always promote it like it's healthy too, lol. That's exactly what MrBeast did for the Feastables thing, and then he turned it around. I'm gonna be tasting plastic in this, bro. Cook them frauds. Now, Dan is the absolute GOAT. He raised an entire generation along with Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, and PewDiePie. He was one of the gaming YouTubers that was always on the top, and he was always really entertaining and super wholesome as well. So you know that when he actually feels the need to step in and call something out, it's gotta be bad. And I have to agree, man. MrBeast said he wants to help people. In the past, he's literally said, okay, I want to create healthy products instead of, you know, unhealthy junk like what everybody else is doing. And what has he done? He started a burger chain, a chocolate bar, and now this Lunchly, which is just processed trash. Like, does that sound like someone who cares about you? That someone who cares about the kids or whatever? Like, this dude has $1 billion and is still pulling stunts like this. And can we just talk about who he's collaborating with? Logan Paul and KSI. Both of these people have been exposed by CoffeeZilla for allegedly, according to CoffeeZilla, scamming their audiences with crypto. These are people with horrible, horrible track records who are just trying to take your money and have done many, many horrible things. I think everybody remembers Logan Paul's forest incident. I don't know how he possibly got a career after that, but he's still going scamming, you know, starting these BS companies that are just absolutely unhealthy trash. Like, if you're out there feeding Prime to your kids, I question your parenting, all right? Just gonna say. By the way, on the Lunchly site, hidden in their privacy policy, it says the site is not for people under the age of 16. Bro, Jimmy's fan base, Logan Paul's fan base, and KSI's fan base is not over the age of 16, let's be honest, all right? So who exactly are these Lunchables for? If it's not for kids under the age of 16, that's the same thing you said for Prime. Oh yeah, no, but this is not a kid's beverage. Like, who are the ones freaking consuming it though? Like, you know what you're doing. Okay, so seeing the public's response to the video, I think most people agree that Lunchly was a massive cash grab attempt by the Doofus trio. And honestly, it warms my heart to see OG YouTubers like DanTDM speak out on these situations. You can tell that he actually cares about his audience and just kids in general, considering he's a new dad as well, and pretty much raised a generation through his videos. Meanwhile, KSI, Logan, and MrBeast all attempted to respond to DanTDM and call him out as well, but as it turns out, they got absolutely bodied 3v1. It is embarrassing. So here we have Dan's original tweet, just to recap in case you missed the previous video. Okay, so here we have KSI's first response saying, looks like crap to me, and he's linked a bunch of pictures of DanTDM products. We got a U2s, we got a diamond pickaxe because Dan's like a Minecraft guy. KSI actually got community noted. Not only has KSI also worked for them before, the CEO of U2s, Austin Long, got his start by managing the Sidemen and was an executive producer on their YouTube Red show. So he's literally buddy with the U2s guy, yet calling his own product crap. That is absolutely hilarious. Here's what people are saying, and if you notice, he got absolutely ratioed 20k likes and the first reply already 40k. With all due respect, bro, you have a U2s too, calling out the hypocrisy. And I'm not the one complaining and crying on Twitter though. Lol, you missed the point. Beefing DanTDM is crazy. You wish you could make merch this good. You thought you cooked with this. Community notes, laughing. Ratio plus respect DanTDM. Comparing a combo meal of drink that falsely advertises its ability to hydrate and highly processed snacks to a toy for kids to play. Okay. Listen, basically the problem is people respect DanTDM about 100 times more than they respect KSI. Because Dan is a wholesome guy, you can always tell that he means well, right? He's just trying to help people out. And basically, he recently became a dad, which is why he's probably speaking out about unhealthy food for kids, because he's probably passionate about it now and wants his child to grow up, you know, big and strong. Meanwhile, KSI is an absolute clown, right? He's entertaining for sure, but he's literally, allegedly, according to CoffeeZilla, a crypto scammer, you know, taking money from his own audience and viewers for his own personal gain. His biggest business partner and apparently best friend now is Logan Paul, the freaking Japan Forest guy who has also done multiple crypto scams. Logan even admitted it and then apologized to CoffeeZilla and then retracted that, deleted it, and tried to sue CoffeeZilla for exposing him, pretending that nothing bad happened. So pretty much nobody respects these people other than kids. I've actually watched KSI for years because you know, the Sidemen group as a whole, the 7 people in there, are really funny and entertaining, but I don't really look to them for morals, and neither should you. They're just like a TV show to me, pretty much. Now, it turns out KSI was so salty that he made a follow-up tweet digging up a Dan TDM video from 10 years ago. Ain't no way. But he was talking about food, JJ. He was sponsored, then promoted, and made a whole video on Munch Pack, a monthly sub box full of food and candy, to his Minecraft audience full of kids. Now what? Now, KSI really thought he owned with this, right? We got Meet Our Bestsellers, right? We got original Munch Packs, and we got Dan TDM promoting it in a video, holding a packet of chips. Now, unfortunately for KSI, he got ratioed again to 12k likes, 17k, 38k, 8k. Insane levels of reaching to sell slop to kids. Bro, I'll be honest, your shit just sucks, and people like Dan TDM more than you, Lamau. Squiddy is a Dan TDM friend here and a fellow YouTuber. It's a one-off sponsored video, plus he isn't claiming candy is healthy in the video. You guys own the company and actively claiming it's a healthy lunch alternative. That's where the problems are. I think anybody with the brain cell can see the difference between a one-off sponsored video and literally owning the whole thing. One-time sponsorship versus owner of a company, not sure that's the same thing. The PR team saying that's classic. You of all people should not be talking about what people did in their past. And I will say KSI's past, like if you go 10 years back like you're doing with Dan TDM, KSI's past is absolutely crazy. If we brought that on Twitter right now, dude would get canceled instantly, okay? It's just people have forgiven him because, you know, time has passed. Damn, JJ, money's changing you. Why is it so hard for you to take criticism without feeling someone is attacking you? Such a sad cope. Why is it so hard for you to take criticism without looking like a bitch? So here is the original video from Dan TDM. It's funny, not only is there a huge difference because one is a sponsorship and the other is an owner, but the sponsorship in question was a video from 9 years ago on a side channel called Trying Food from Around the World. Very relevant to the, you know, sponsor or whatever. Absolutely crazy, by the way, that KSI thinks that that's actually comparable. Listen, in my opinion, Lunchly is probably going to be ultra processed garbage that I wouldn't eat on my deathbed. Heck, it'll probably put me there. Not gonna lie, that was a joke for legal reasons. All right, I rate KSI's response a 2 out of 10. Absolutely trash and petty. Moving on to Logan Paul's response. Logan Paul responds saying, "I'll tell you what happened to YouTubers. We spent our lives creating content and building our brands. Now we want to build businesses. You don't say anything when Lunchables faces bans for allegedly containing lead, but when we create a better version, you're upset, then don't eat it." Community noted instantly, Prime Hydration was filed for including lead on 3 separate occasions. Oh, commenting on Lunchables lead findings will include a drink that is also known to have lead inside a metal pack is very hypocritical. I don't know how Logan ever opens his mouth regarding anything. This guy just gets bodied anytime he tries to make a point about anything, dude. Consumers Report urge USD to remove Lunchables from National School Lunch Program. Yes, replace it with your product. Amazing. You'll get 100 million kids of sales. Amazing. Listen, why would Dan TDM randomly talk about Lunchables? He was only talking about Lunchly because you're a fellow YouTuber and you're pretty much giving all of us other YouTubers a bad name, right? Now everybody thinks that we're money-hungry, soulless people who will sell out our audience for a quick buck. And not gonna lie, you guys definitely fit that description. Anyways, Logan's response gets a 1 out of 10. That's even worse than KSI somehow. Now, the entirety of Twitter is just bodying them. POV the entirety of Gen Z when someone talks shit about Dan TDM. And we're just getting strapped here. A real man never speaks ill of Dan TDM. The classic blue-haired goat. Never speak on Dan TDM. And we got the wife's name out of your mouth clip. Girl, why are you beefing with Dan TDM? That's like YouTube Jesus. We got the Oompaville essay in responding to Logan Paul as well. Bro doesn't know anything about lead, nor did he read the article. If your argument is that my product is healthier because it doesn't contain as much lead, you are embarrassingly stupid. The lead contamination claim is in regard to CA's lead rules, which are the strictest in the US, but it's the same for the EU. Lead is in everything and is impossible to avoid. Sweet potatoes, which are healthier than your shit Lunchable ripoff, contain nearly as much lead in puree than in those unhealthy Lunchables. We're talking about parts per billion. It's totally irrelevant and impossible to prevent the consumption of lead, cadmium, cadmium, arsenic, and all things that are incredibly abundant on Earth. The important thing is mitigating exposure reasonably, not claiming your product is better for you because it may have less lead. Lamau. Dark chocolate has so much lead in it, it's crazy how prevalent lead is. They aren't freaking putting lead in the product, you moron. This is so misleading. I wouldn't want this idiot anywhere near my product. Holy shit. Oompaville is going absolutely in. Oh my god. I think he's pretty passionate about this because Oompaville also has a candy company, and I guess he's a little more knowledgeable about selling food to his audience or something. If you actually want to improve people's lives and not just make money, make the product yourself and take actual responsibility instead of lying and making a fool of yourself on a daily basis. And maybe let people know that your product is bad for them and they should consider whole food alternatives as often as possible. And this is a bad thing to market in mass to children without any kind of disclaimer or honesty. Aside from mine doesn't have lead, which I guarantee it does, it's simply not possible. So embarrassing. Okay, so I know some people might call Oompaville a hypocrite. Oh, you're selling candy as well. But I think Oompa explicitly always says that, hey, my candy is extremely unhealthy. Don't freaking get it. Basically just get it as a treat, but predominantly eat healthy food and stuff like that. So I think he has a pretty good relationship with the audience. I think it's a different situation from the Logan Paul thing for sure, who's like, oh, my product is totally healthy, you know? Now, Jacksepticeye, the green-haired goat, has chimed in. You mess with Dan TDM, you mess with YouTube, you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. And then finally, we have MrBeast's response to the whole situation, pretending to be a good guy once again. Hey guys, I actually care about the kids. That's why I will be giving them diabetes in middle school. Yes. Lunchables sells hundreds of millions of units and countless people eat it. Our goal is to give people a better for you alternative to it. Our turkey meal, for example, is 80 less calories, 60% less sugar, more electrolytes. We use real cheese, they use cheese product, higher quality meat, etc. First off, if it's lunch, you're gonna need more than 200 calories for lunch, buddy. Like, if you're just cutting calories for no reason, that doesn't mean anything. That's only good for people who want to lose weight, not growing kids, dude. Second thing is 60% less sugar, but what did you replace the sugar with? Like, I assume it's gonna be equally sweet or more sweet, so it's probably gonna have one of those artificial products in there, which are under investigation for causing several issues. More electrolytes. Okay, so the layman's gonna be like, well, that's a good thing, but what specifically? Are you talking about sodium, potassium, magnesium? Like, are you talking about like actual hydration or the bullshit Prime Energy drink that is actually horrible in hydration? We use real cheese, they use cheese product. This is the only sort of good thing here, if that is actually true and they do it. Higher quality meat, etc. I don't know what standards you're using here. Obviously, eating fresh chicken and broccoli is healthier, which if someone is going to eat a pre-made meal like this, which millions of people do, I think giving them a higher quality version at roughly the same price is a net good in my opinion, and that's why we launched Lunchly. Yes, that's why you did it. You just care about the kids, don't you, MrBeast? Not to earn another bajillion dollars with a perishable product. By the way, the reason MrBeast is so incessant on food like burgers, Feastables, and Lunchly, because it's a product that you can buy over and over. For example, if I'm a YouTuber, I sell you guys merch. I sell you guys a t-shirt. Likely, you're gonna buy it one time and probably never again because you have the shirt and, you know, you got the product. But if it's food, you buy it, you eat it. You buy it, you eat it. You buy it, you eat it forever and ever and ever. And especially if it's ultra-processed crap that tastes good, then you're obviously going to get super hyper addicted to it, and you're going to get a bajillion dollars. So him pretending like it's for the kids is so completely disingenuous. Not a single soul is actually buying this. Also, we get economies of scale so we can get things cheaper. We will only be improving the product more and more. By economies of scale, meaning 500 gigantic machines producing all the shit in a factory. Now, we'll give him props. At least he's trying to address the criticism directly. I give this a 3 out of 10. It is a still complete dogshit response and completely lying, obviously, but better than KSI and Logan for sure. We got Dogpack in the replies. Kids need more than 230 calories for lunch. Your product has processed garbage with no nutritional value. Now, just the allegations of running illegal lotteries, selling fake signatures, endangering contestants, and hiring and protecting predators. Cam Nuggets, we don't care. Still waiting to reply to the allegations. Albert, the Roblox YouTuber, is here. If you release this product, I will neck myself. MrBeast, you should feed children toxic waste and give me $10,000. Yes, what a good idea. Agreed, this is slightly less unhealthy. That's only if you take their word for it. I'm sure Lunchables will have their own argument regarding it, but it's like selling organic cigarettes to smokers and calling it a positive impact. Yeah, like if you really cared about kids, you'd stick to your original promise of, you know, trying to make healthy products. Okay, basically, if you're concerned concerned parent watching this, do not feed your kids Lunchables or Lunchly or any garbage if you truly care about them. Make them a sandwich. Set aside 5 minutes for your child. Put some chicken, put some veggies. They'll be 100 times healthier than any of this trash they're trying to feed your kids. If you want them living past 50, please take care of your kids. And don't listen to money-hungry influencers who mass produce this shit for no reason other than profit. Okay, I think we can all agree that all of the responses were pretty trash, not gonna lie. And particularly KSI bringing up Dan's video from 9 years ago is just pathetic. In fact, we have new info now. KSI actually could not stop having a meltdown. He actually made a new video entirely about this situation. His new video is titled "Everybody Hates Us Right Now," and it's basically him reading his own subreddit, and he's just omega coping by laughing every 3 seconds at all the criticism. And basically every single post in his Reddit is his own fans calling him out for not being able to take criticism and just being a scummy person. And even his own comment section is just absolutely cooking him.
Jimmy's new formula when it comes to chocolate is very good. I think I had the cookies and cream. Oh my god. So good.
Bro actually just can't stop glazing MrBeast. Oh wow, my conveniently business partner's product is so tasty. Also, Prime actually tastes like liquid gold. Oh my god. Dude, you're such a sellout. It's pathetic. It's just actually pathetic. He reacts to his Reddit for a bit and it's just complete copium.
Nah, JJ's cooked, bro. And then there's a tweet from Jacksepticeye. You mess with Dan TDM, you mess with YouTube. I mean, that's cringe.
What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore.
Looks like crap to me while showing his toys that he sold to kids. How does this benefit your fans, Dan? Now, obviously, people didn't realize that I was shining a mirror in his face. Instead, they were like,
Wait, you did the same as Dan. You made toys with Tube Heroes. He was talking about food, not merchandise and toys.
A monthly sub box full of food and candy to his Minecraft audience full of kids.
Oh, well, Dan only did this once. Well, Dan TDM doesn't actually own the sweets.
I've realized why. It's because people just hate us. People just hate us. People hate Logan Paul, okay? They hate MrBeast. And they hate me. Mentioning the Logan scam from a year ago and MrBeast situation from last month. Bringing up a harmless Dan TDM video from 9 years ago. But I wasn't the one complaining! I'm just replying to Dan!
He is so mad right now. Basically, his entire response was making a funny voice and saying, oh, boo-hoo, people just hate me. They don't care about my arguments even though I'm right. And, you know, my response to that is, first off, obviously, you're completely wrong in this situation. You're a money-hungry, soulless piece of trash, in my opinion. And, yeah, I will admit that, yes, people do hate you, but not for no reason, because you guys are literally allegedly, all right, scammers. The entire internet is not going to hate you for no reason, all right? These are real people watching. Logan Paul is one of the most hateable people on the internet because he constantly keeps doing absolutely deplorable shit. And now, you and MrBeast are joining him doing equally dumb shit. That's why people hate you. The reason people hate you is because of your history as well as your dog shit product. And also, the way you responded was extremely immature and childish. You tried to insult Dan, pull up like a 9-year-old video and stuff like that, which is absolutely crazy when you know he could do the same thing to you. You're a 30-year-old man having a temper tantrum. It's sad. Okay, little tangent from the MrBeast situation just for a minute, just because I gotta expose this guy's character here. There was a clip that KSI was trying to scrub from the internet, but he ended up giving up because everybody kept posting it on his Reddit. It is the viral Vicstar clip where Vicstar accidentally exposes in a podcast that KSI wanted to release an NFT, literally one of the biggest scams ever, just to make monies from his fans, and Vic actually had to talk him out of it.
Ever been something that's gone so far down the line and then last minute you've got, this just isn't going to work, we need to sack this. NFTs!
Oh my goodness,
yeah.
This was KSI in his KSI crypto era.
I mean, I'm still into crypto, okay? NFTs obviously not so much because we've realized that hindsight is 2020 and that NFTs were just not as good as they were claimed to be. But like I said, hindsight makes such a difference. If Ethereum were at 0 right now, everyone would have been like, you guys promoted Ethereum, scammers. But obviously back then, no one knew. It's just this whole typical mindset with crypto. If things go down, it's a scam. If things go up, it's fine. But what about stocks? There's several stocks that go down. Does that mean they're scams?
This guy has brain rot. That is possibly the most brain dead defense I've ever seen. Literally every single person knew that NFT was a scam. It was not a hindsight thing. NFTs are not comparable to regular stocks. Stop acting like they're the same thing. And you have literally done crypto rug pulls yourself on Twitter where you tell your fans to buy and then you secretly sell behind the scenes. You are not to be trusted and you know exactly what you're doing. And then you hide behind, I'm just so stupid, guys. I just don't know anything. Meanwhile, you're literally asking people to give you their money so you can scam them. It's crazy.
NFT projects, especially back then, were like, launch the NFT project, make $20 million that day. What happens afterwards, everyone should make money, but if they don't, who cares? You made 20 mil. And we had this big, like, deck. And, like, JJ thought it was the best idea. And then the other guys were, like, unsure. And I was like, I will not let this happen. So I had to like do a detailed breakdown of every reason why I thought it was a bad idea. So I was like, I want to kill this dead now because I do not want there to be a Sidemen NFT.
Yeah.
I do not ever want to make millions of dollars at the direct expense of fans getting nothing for it. A useless token online. And also with the way we've got a bunch of businesses, like if you effectively scam people or like fuck them over with one business, everything else loses credibility. Okay, what shortcuts are they doing to make their vodka worse? Like, so on and so forth. Like, it's like
a credibility down the drain, really, isn't it?
It could have been so bad. Like, our whole credibility could be shot over something like that. But I don't think it would have happened anyway. But I just remember that one coming up, and I was like
he did say at the end, it was never going to happen anyway. But like with all things, I'm always going to be interested.
Of course you're going to be interested because you're interested in anything that makes a quick buck because you are not a good person. Even with this Lunchly thing, I'm just so interested in children's food, guys, suddenly. Like, thank God you have good guy Vic on your team. Otherwise, the Sidemen would have crashed and burned a long time ago if they followed your dumb decisions. Absolutely horrible response. 0 out of 10. Actually, I'm going to make that -2 out of 10 because before this video, I hated him less. And after this video, I actually like him even lesser now. Anyways, back to MrBeast. We got to talk about the final employee that actually called MrBeast out. Another former employee has come out exposing MrBeast in an interview. His name is Trey, and he's actually an editor for Jacksepticeye. And apparently, he worked for MrBeast for 3 whole years and had many, like, important responsibilities there. He tweeted out, "Yep, I worked with MrBeast for a considerable amount of time from 2018 to 2021. This video sheds light on Jimmy firing me for refusing to work for more than 45 hours a week for him. Incredibly illegal of him and his team to do. This after he called me incredibly angry about a sponsored video that was never going to do well in the first place, demanding me to lose sleep and achieve absolute perfection out of a video while also putting in 0 work himself to do so." Basically, Trey talks about how overworked he was. He talks about James Warren, the secret CEO, allegedly handing out Adderall to make the employees work more, and a bunch of more insane things.
How long did you work for Jimmy for?
Almost 3 years. I started off with me editing for Beast Reacts in 2018. Did a lot of work to really prove myself on that, and then became editor and post-production manager. Moved out to North Carolina, worked on more main channel videos. They wanted me to work on main channel videos, but they also wanted me to head this other subsidiary company they had called Horizontal Productions. During that time, I was post-production manager. I was also production manager. I was also an editor, and I was also a retention specialist. Like, wow. And yeah, so I had 4 full-time jobs. Like, I worked Thanksgiving, Christmas, my 30th birthday, 4th of July. Every single holiday you can think of, I worked those holidays. James Warren, I think he's always been the CEO of MrBeast.
To your knowledge, did you know about him offering substances to people to stay and work longer?
Yep. Adderall. There was a time in summer of 2020, it might have been fall, where Adderall was being passed around the company. There were higher up employees that were offering it to other employees just so they could work all night and edit videos all night. so that way they could like stop complaining and stop sleeping. And it was investigated internally within the company, but how far does that go? Like, James Warren had to be pulled out of the company story for like a week, and then the next week he was right back in. I believe that's one of James Warren's friends named Devin Leach, and that's him admitting right there that like he is part of the crew that's passing around Adderall in the company. And by the way, in that message, John Smith is Jimmy, and it's funny that my proof of that being Jimmy is this message that I found where he sent an article of his wiki feed confirming that that's him. Yes.
All right, just more and more insane things coming out about their work culture. I mean, it's one thing to, you know, inspire your employees to work hard, you know, never take no for an answer, stuff like that. But handing out drugs, that is just absolutely crazy. That's like milking every last drop of your employee's sanity. In my opinion, that's definitely overkill, and nobody really needs to work that much. In fact, you're probably just like compromising their work if you're pushing them that far. Anyways, Trey goes on to talk about Lacoya Hill and sort of corroborates that story, basically saying that he was fired for essaying his assistant, and basically he was still getting like shuffled around the company. He also talks about how there was another Jake Weddle situation with the FBI video where they crashed a car in a video, hired a psychopath, and had to redo the video.
When the sexual assault allegations or accusations started in 2021, it was announced in the company that Lacoya was taking a family leave. Lacoya was then, quote unquote, let go in 2021, but then secretly shuffled within the company to a lower position where I guess he wasn't as visible in documents, eventually promoted to another position of power, up until, you know, very recently, whenever they had to restructure the company with the leaked email from within MrBeast's team. I actually went to therapy after MrBeast because it was like that impactful for me. And when I was telling them that, I started crying. Hunted by an FBI agent video in 2021. And what people don't know is that that was the second time that that was recorded. Very similar to the Jake Weddle story. The first time that they recorded it, they didn't vet the FBI agent talent properly, and it ended up that that guy was a psychopath and like bumped into the car that Ava and Chandler and all the other talent were in, and like made them drive off the road and crash.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't seem like a safe work environment, but anything for another banger video, you know? Just need another 100 million views, bro. That's all that matters here. Okay, so that was Trey's experience with MrBeast, having worked there for 3 whole years. He also corroborates some of the Lacoya Hill allegations. He also tells his own story regarding how MrBeast unjustly fired him. You can find that on the Asher Show's channel. Now, we also had other YouTubers like Snoop calling into question the authenticity of MrBeast's videos, including some of the philanthropy he does as well. This allegation is by a YouTuber named Snoop. The video is titled, "Times MrBeast Faked His Philanthropy Videos."
From I built 100 wells in Africa to 1,000 blind people see for the first time, here are a few of MrBeast's charitable videos where he was criticized for faking it, misleading the audience, and being more focused on gaining views and profits than genuine philanthropy. This is all just alleged information that's all available publicly at this stage, and I am just reporting it. Now, let's start with I built 100 wells in Africa.
This is the first of 100 wells we're gonna build in this video. Oh, water!
If you watch the video and zoom in right here, this is well 28 and well 29. There is no picture for well number 29, and again, well 28 and well 67 are the same, but the angle is just different. It is somewhat suspicious, however, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's see what's next. The second problem is you see him claiming he will build wells in Kenya, we built 20 more wells in Kenya, then proceeding to show a picture that clearly shows Zimbabwe. Again, not something you should be seeing after spending thousands of dollars to build a well.
Dude, I'll push you off of this. All right, here we go, under control. We built 20 more wells in Kenya.
This is the picture mentioned in the post where MrBeast mentioned Kenya but showed a picture from Zimbabwe. And finally, before he says well 69, he actually skips a picture of 68. There was no picture for well 68.
And after giving away the bikes, we continue building wells until we reach well number 69!
And yes, that's right, there are no pictures for well number 68. So why are these pictures skipped? Editing mistakes? Or purposely removed because those missing wells were never installed? And this is a huge red flag, especially when you're spending millions of dollars and using donation money from other people. It becomes a more logical choice to lie about the number of wells to make it seem like he did more than he actually did. Using fake numbers rather than fillers creates the illusion that there is a lot more new stuff to be seen than there actually is, thus increasing engagement. Building 100 wells in the time span of at most 2 weeks is questionable in itself. Furthermore, the work doesn't just stop at just installing a well. You need to maintain, repair, and make sure it's working after 3 or 5 years.
Okay, so the evidence here is obviously not definitive because it's just from the video itself and whatever Jimmy's put out there. They're just trying to draw conclusions based on that. There's no definitive way to say that he didn't actually build all those wells. Maybe it was cut for editing or retention or something. Depends on how you want to interpret those sort of editing choices there. You know, I'm hoping for nothing sinister there, obviously, as always. But the stuff about maintaining it is pretty important because, you know, just doing these stunts like building 100 wells and stuff and moving on is not enough because these sort of things need to be maintained long term. So the question needs to be asked, are MrBeast employees still going back there to check if they need any help, if, you know, if something malfunctions or, you know, doing like yearly maintenance or something like that, right? Now, this next part is definitely more damaging to MrBeast's reputation. Dogpack mentioned this as well. He talks about Team C's being a complete PR stunt, considering they didn't remove that much plastic at all. Then the numbers pretty much speak for themselves here. They basically did nothing.
Team C's aims to remove 30 million pounds of plastic from the oceans. In sensible units, that's about 13,600 tons, which sounds like a lot, but not when compared to the 150 million tons of plastic in the ocean. 13,600 tons is, at most, about 0.01% of all the plastic in the ocean. In fact, if we assume that 8 million tons is added to the oceans every year, again, an underestimate, then over the 3-year lifespan of Team C's removing 13,600 tons, 24 million tons of plastic waste will be added to the oceans. Or to think of it another way, Team C's will remove from the oceans in 3 years that which is added in under 15 hours.
Team C's has also teamed up with one of the most controversial organizations in the world, known as the Ocean Cleanup. Coca-Cola is also a sponsor of the Ocean Cleanup, and they're one of the top 5 companies who contribute to 50% of the world's plastic pollution. So, in simple words, these projects are not focused on the root cause, which is plastic pollution, and instead they're just publicity stunts.
Yeah, I mean, if Coca-Cola is sponsoring your shit, I cannot trust you, bro. Like, these are literally the guys that were doing all of the plastic pollution, and you expect me to believe that they want to save the environment suddenly? Please, it's all about profits for them. And yeah, these are pretty fair points that they just did not make an impact, and they marketed it like, oh, I'm saving the ocean, just donate some money, and I'm literally gonna save the ocean here, guys. But actually, they ended up doing absolutely nothing. Now, obviously, their defense for this is that, oh, we're just inspiring other people to pick up trash and stuff like that, but that is literally doing nothing as well, because majority of the pollution in the world is done by these absolutely mega companies like Coca-Cola, and individual people trying to do anything does absolutely nothing. In fact, they're just gaslighting the shit out of people, thinking that they can make a difference when they actually cannot, ever. Moving on to another video, Snoop talks about MrBeast faking his regular videos. Now, this is becoming just blatantly obvious now, even in his latest men versus women survival video. Apparently, the women won because they had literally trained survivalists on the women's team from like Naked and Afraid, right? People have been doing this for years. Meanwhile, the guys were just random dudes who had no idea what they were doing. So obviously unfair challenges. And this is all because of PR, because that's all MrBeast cares about. Oh, the men cannot win. We can't allow the guys to win in any challenge like this because it would be bad PR. It's so cringe. Just do it organically, you know, make it fair, and just publish the result, right?
Now, let's start with 7 days stranded in a cave.
I don't normally do intros like this, but I'm currently descending hundreds of feet into a cave that runs over 5 kilometers deep into the earth. And whether we like it or not, as soon as my friends and I touch the ground, we are officially stranded here for the next 7 days. That might have been the scariest thing I've ever done.
Turns out this cave is a tourist attraction in New Zealand known as Waitomo glowworm caves. As per Wikipedia, this cave is known for its glowworm species found exclusively in New Zealand. In fact, you can find several comments saying the same thing. Is that Waitomo Caves? It's Waitomo Cave in NZ. Most of the cave is extremely well lit. Stranded in a Cave is a tourist attraction in New Zealand. The official tour of the cave takes 45 minutes. This cave has a cafe and a gift shop.
We didn't know it yet, but the next 7 days will by far be the hardest of our entire lives. Ruthless enough that we began to question if we could even get to the finish line.
Now watch this video.
Before, this was a thrilling adventure that travels through the passages of the Waitomo Caves. It involves swimming, jumping over cascading waterfalls, riding a tube, and marveling at the stunning limestone formations. The guides we had for this activity were very fun and entertaining.
Yeah, this is just absolutely embarrassing for MrBeast. Oh my god, guys, I'm stranded in a cave! Like, the editing is doing 99% of the work there, making it seem like they're in the middle of a storm, like a cave storm or something. It's literally a tourist attraction that takes 45 minutes to cross. By the way, I would have no problem if he said, oh, it's for kids, it's for entertainment, but instead, MrBeast goes on like every podcast and he's like, I never fake videos, everything is real, and then he gets like legitimately triggered when people are like, oh, you fake your videos. Like, you're just lying to everybody. How can anybody trust you when it's so obvious you're faking everything and you're bullshitting everyone? He also talks about the YouTuber challenge video. A lot of people were theorizing this was fixed because KSI and Logan Paul had special inside info.
I've gathered 50 of the biggest YouTubers on the planet. And whichever one lasts the longest in this cube wins that $1 million for their subscribers.
Logan Paul and KSI didn't ride the bus to the location like the other contestants.
You see, it's 50 YouTubers in the box fighting for $1 million. Only 48 of the YouTubers in this event were on the bus. 2 of them had already arrived early, and they're the first 2 people you see when you open the video. Logan Paul and KSI.
I know what one of them is. What? Our biggest fan for all of us. And they're gonna come out, and then Jimmy's gonna be like, if you can make this 3...
How could you possibly know a detail that crucial before the game even started? In the giant Jenga game, everyone picked their closest friends, but Logan Paul and KSI chose the shortest people. It seems too strategic, as if they knew what the game would be. Logan Paul somehow picked the professional chef YouTuber who cooks for a living as his partner, Nick DiGiovanni. Coincidence? I think not.
Bro, how'd you end up with Nick?
He said it.
That's crazy.
I'm cooked.
And the way Logan got eliminated...
Quick score.
Wait. One time for the one time, please. It's been so long.
Wait, you just left.
I couldn't resist throwing a plate. That was a complete mistake.
Dude, this is such scripted trash. This is just bad content at this point. I can't believe I actually thought his videos were real at one point. At this point, he just has to give us a list of the videos that are actually real, because that would be easier than pointing out the fake ones.
I survived 7 days in an abandoned city.
We just got dropped off in the middle of an abandoned city, and we're gonna spend the next 7 days here. And there goes our only way out. We are now stranded for the next 7 days.
The city, Dubrovnik, where the video was shot, is just a drive from the airport, and the access to the ruined complex in Kupari has been restricted due to the ongoing filming by MrBeast's crew, meaning MrBeast closed off the area to the public, particularly for the shooting of the video, and declared it abandoned.
Yeah, my guess is if you looked hard enough, you could probably find inconsistencies in all of these videos that prove that, you know, a large majority of them are fake as well. So you guys get the point. Okay, so I think everybody knows at this point that the regular videos are largely faked or rigged, but the points regarding the philanthropy and charity efforts definitely need to be addressed. Of course, not all of the allegations are confirmed. These are just theories by various people just investigating everything he's done because of all the other shady things that are coming out about him. Anyways, after all of that MrBeast lore, we finally arrive at the latest controversy as of filming this video today. MrBeast has officially been sued. MrBeast has just been sued by 5 people in a class action lawsuit, and it's not looking good. This lawsuit is regarding Beast Games and MrBeast's Amazon show. MrBeast and Amazon sued by contestants on Beast Games' competition show with allegations including sexual harassment and chronic mistreatment. Here we have a redacted copy of the complaint. It's 54 pages, so obviously I'm not going to go through all of that. But basically the contestants are California residents. One is a US resident, I guess. And then the complaints are for failure to pay minimum wages. That's crazy. Liquidated damages for failure to pay minimum wages, failure to pay overtime, failure to prevent harassment, negligent infliction of emotional distress, failure to provide uninterrupted meal breaks, uninterrupted rest breaks, pay wages promptly upon termination, false advertising, unfair business practices. Basically a bunch of stuff that's not good that we pretty much covered in the previous videos as well, if you've been watching my 50-piece saga over here. Several contestants ended up hospitalized while others reported suffering physical and mental complications while being subjected to chronic mistreatment, degradation, and for the female contestants, hostile working conditions. From one of the female plaintiffs, I wanted to join because I was a fan of MrBeast and his videos made me smile during the pandemic. I expected to be challenged, but I didn't think I would be treated like nothing, less than nothing. As one of the women, I can say it absolutely felt like a hostile environment for us. We honestly could not have been respected less as people, much less employees, if they tried. Okay, so obviously this is a huge deal. We've talked about this in several videos before, talked about the unsafe conditions in the MrBeast challenges, where allegedly contestants ended up in the hospital, were denied medication, and much more. We even got Rosanna Pansino chiming in once again. The stories I've continued to hear are heartbreaking. I talked to a few executives at major networks that ran away from funding Beast Games because Jimmy wanted full control. The way he treats people in private is disgusting. And she's tagged YouTube. What if Amazon sues him to recoup their losses and to get out of releasing the show? That would probably end his career. Well, Jay just gave Amazon a brilliant idea. Here we got an article by CNN. MrBeast production company and Amazon are being sued for alleged harassment of contestants on his reality show. Now imagine MrBeast is sweating right now because he wants to avoid a PR disaster by absolutely all means, and it is just not going his way. Everybody's covering it. He seems to keep messing up over and over and over again, and turns out the lawsuit is probably going to get worse because MrBeast actually ignored everybody's warnings and continued to film his Beast Game show, and another disaster has happened. A MrBeast crew member was allegedly hospitalized on September the 11th after part of a tower at Beast Games collapsed on them while filming. The accident took place at the end of filming on September 11 when a 6x6 piece of a tower fell on the unnamed person. This guy went from MrBeast for president to the most hated YouTuber in a span of a month. Here's one of the people reporting the story. Steven says, I can now confirm that at the end of filming on September 11, a 6-foot by 6-foot piece of the tower at the Beast Games fell on the crew member. Emergency services were called and they were brought to the hospital where they still remain. A MrBeast spokesperson declined to comment. Obviously, gotta decline to comment there. Oh, a crew member is borderline about to die? No comment, no comment. So obviously this is why people were actually concerned with MrBeast not taking safety precautions when doing his massive challenges. Major crew member injury in the set of Beast Games. I can also confirm there are more not yet reported contestant injuries as well from the Toronto Beast Games shoot. This information comes only days after reports of not enough safety measures on the Toronto Beast Games set. Dogpack in the replies, a 6x6 foot piece of the cement tower fell on a crew member a week ago and they're still in the hospital. I hope they make a full recovery and get a massive settlement check. That is terrifying. And Dogpack has attached a couple images here of the supposed tower, it seems. I mean, if this is falling on you, this is gonna hurt, all right, obviously. If it was cement, the person would be dead. Depends on the height it fell could also be one of the square number things, whatever those are made of, but the tower appears to be 95% cement, which is what CBC reported. Either way, something heavy enough to hospitalize someone for over a week. Yeah, that is absolutely horrifying. Nobody should be working with MrBeast unless he gets his safety in gear, in my opinion. Okay, so what's gonna happen with the lawsuit? My guess is, unfortunately, they're going up against MrBeast and Amazon, two bajillionaire corporations. I don't know how much the 5 contestants can afford in legal fees, or if other people are going to be joining this lawsuit, if that's even possible, but they might just get buried in money trouble before any resolutions. But maybe depending on what they can prove, they can actually win millions of dollars from MrBeast as well. And it would be very hard for MrBeast to continue his Amazon show as well. So I wanted to add this comment I got in my video. Attorney here, since it's a class action lawsuit, it can actually get much bigger. With these lawsuits, there's a specified window of time where people can join, even after the lawsuit is filed. It's typically a pretty long period of time in months, so the window is probably still open, which allows any former contestants to join. Plus, the NDAs can't stop contestants from joining the lawsuit. NDAs don't actually cover illegal activity. And even if there are things that contestants can't talk about publicly, they can still disclose that information to the court. There's one potential exception. MrBeast was offering people $1,000 after the games in exchange for agreeing not to sue him, which is always suspicious. If they took that deal, then they probably can't join the lawsuit. So the lawsuit could potentially get much worse for MrBeast. So we don't actually have an update regarding this. I did actually interview 2 separate contestants, and one of them said they were offered the $1,000 for agreeing not to sue him, and another one of them said they never got this offering of $1,000 at all. So I don't know who's lying, I don't know who's telling the truth. But anyways, the lawsuit has a potential to get much, much bigger, but as of now, the story has just dropped. We'll have to wait and see what actually happens. Anyways, that is the entire MrBeast story so far, at least my coverage on it. Hopefully this brings you up to date on everything. If there are more updates, we will be covering it, obviously. Till then, let me know what you guys think of the entire saga in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.